All right, everybody, what's happening? It's me, Texas Hardcore, and Juno 2000 with Rando Bando 3. We're gonna talk tonight. I'm gonna instead of doing an unboxing because it's been a while, I'm gonna do my it's basically my Christmas gifts and pickups, and then we're going to do our top five physical media buys of things that we like for physical media for last year 2024. So I just want to say, thanks to, I know this was a last kind of moment thing. I forgot that P Rich was, doing a watch along of Nosferatu, and also that Vanta Black is doing her thing over at her channel. But yeah, real quick, I'm gonna go and go with everybody that's in here so far. The roll call, we've got hey, you got aliens or Italians, as it looks to me sometimes, and we have, of course, Jimmy Jam Van Dusen is in the house. And of course, Chester Franklin and Zodiac, and they're stopping in. And, I guess, they'll probably be in and out of here, and in and out is usually the best way to be sometimes, if you know what I mean. See, it's going to get
Yep.
wacky tonight, it's just going to get wacky. That's what it's going to be, Juno. So you better strap on because we're going for a ride here, it's, it's going to be the
Yeah.
wackiest one yet. I'm this was something that Sean wanted to do like we did last year, but unfortunately we don't have last year's show because that was on his channel that got taken down. I wish that show was still around. Um, I didn't get a chance since this was a last minute thing to ask him. I just didn't want to wait any longer to figure out, what we were going to do. So I figured we should just, you know, get,
hmm
get this going at least for Juno and I and stuff like that. So with that said, I guess I will get started first and foremost with the unboxing stuff and sort of a couple of things are already unboxed. So um, first thing first is this lovely still book of Amelie, one of the best French films ever made. And, I'm going to send this to a special someone for her Valentine's Day present, because she's learning French. So, she needs to see this. This is like by what the book is made of, you know. And this has Audrey Tautou, who I love a lot. I think she's very good and great French actress. Um, so I was really surprised that this got this release because the DVD, which I do own, has been out of print for a long time. So I was actually happy to pick this up, and I got it at a really good price. Since usually, since really I don't have any real family except for Jimmy and like you guys, I have to get my own Christmas presents, but I always say they come from my mom anyway because, my mom was always good about getting me, the stuff I wanted at least. so, second thing is, I'm not going to delve into this too much, but you ever want to get one of these babies and crack somebody over the skull? It's pretty heavy. But this is Shawscope Volume 3. I own the other two volumes of this. This includes, this one though, includes a lot of great ones on here. The One Armed Swordsman, Return of the One Armed Swordsman, and the new One Armed Swordsman. And when I was a kid, I went to go see Fist of Fury at the drive-in, and they showed one of these, and I wasn't sure which one it was. And I did buy a DVD of One Armed Swordsman sometime in the mid uh, 2000s or so. And then I never watched it, but I was thinking it was this movie. I didn't realize that there were three other movies, and so they actually have this on the Arrow channel. And So they've got all three sets up there. So all the movies are there, and it was up on their channel before the box set even came out. So I've watched quite a number of these films, and because I was especially trying to see if One Armed Swordsman was the one, and then I watched that, and I'm like, nope, that's not it. And I'm like, what the hell? Watch Return of the One Armed Swordsman. Nope. So when I got to the new One Armed Swordsman, that turned out to be the one. So I was very happy to see that. A couple of other movies that I watched off of this was The Lady Hermit and Intimate Confessions of a Chinese Courtesan, which was really fucking good. And there were yams in that one. So it was pretty good, pretty good. Uh, so yeah, I'll go into this a little more later. But these box sets are great. They include, a couple of CDs of some of the theme songs from the different movies and such. So, okay. So this was a big old box, enough to house a small child. And this has, this was from Severance. So this was from the Black Friday sale. A couple of these things I'm not going to expose until we do the top five, but a few of these that I picked up were this. We'll go with this one first. I got this Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, which is one that we did a stream for, and this was a new version that Severin put out with a 4K and like a Blu-ray with over 5 hours of like bonus features, and it has a really fucking excellent slipcover. I'm not all about those sometimes, like some people, but I thought this one was fucking great, and I had to get this one. Fortunately, that was one that wasn't on sale because they did a swerve on everybody this year. Usually it's every, up to 6 months. And then, so like stuff that comes out in January, up to June when they usually have their next sale, that stuff from January to June isn't on sale. But anything previous to that will be on sale. But they decided the Black Friday sale, they swerved us with like 9 months instead of 6. So I was a little perturbed, but I was like, you know what, fuck it, I don't care. I'm gonna get it anyway. So the next one that I picked up is Burial Ground with the almighty Peter Bark, and you guys can ask Darren from the Subjective Perspective Collective. He is known as the president of the Peter Bark fan club. And that was an honor that I bestowed upon him myself, and he has run with it. So the deal with Peter Bark is he's this little Italian guy. He looks like a kid, and there's some kind of interesting stuff in this film with him. But I got to read this great quote on the back. It says, "There's weird, there's fucking weird, and then there's Burial Ground. It's sleazy, gory, nonstop zombie carnage, and so completely off the rails that you can't turn away." And that was from DVD Talk. So right now, I know that Jimmy's throbbing at the mouth, and he's like, "Okay, I want to come over, and I want to watch this motherfucker." That's what he's thinking right now. So then, next up, after that, is Night Killer. And this is somewhere, it says, between Zombie 4 and Troll 2, writer-director Claudio Fragasso, here under the name Clyde Anderson. I love the way these Italian guys would pick these weird fucking, nom de plumes, American nom de plumes for themselves. And it says, but when the producers received his cut of the film, they hired his former partner, Bruno Mattei, the other Hell Robo War, to shoot additional scenes. And this was released in Italy as Texas Chainsaw 3. So of course, these guys were pulling the zombie, kind of stuff, Cruel Jaws, that sort of stuff.
Mm.
And it also has a character in it that's supposedly like Freddy Krueger or something. There's a dude with like claws on the back. I try to get that close up, if you can see that, but But I really,
Mhm.
I was like, man, I gotta see this fucking thing. And then the next one that I picked up was this Canadian kids movie, which I hear is totally fucking freaky as hell. It's even there's a thing on here where it says the scariest movie of all time, a movie so terrifying and bizarre, I was convinced that my memories of watching it as a child were false. That comes from thekitchen.com, but it's the peanut butter solution. I actually picked this up on the be, from because of Allie from Anthony, the horror pimp. His girlfriend liked this movie a lot, and she said that this was a great buy. And this even says Nickelodeon by way of David Lynch. Anyone unaware of what they're in for will be confronted with some of the strangest 90 minutes ever spent in front of a screen. And that's from mondodigital.com. So I was, so this is pretty impressive because it actually has a couple of the kids in it, or at least one I know of from like Degrassi High, Degrassi Junior High, and Degrassi School. So that there is like pretty cool. And I think some kid goes fucking bald in this thing. Then the next thing you know, he's got all this weird hair and all sorts of fucking weird shit. So I'm prepared for that. So it's got some interesting, bonus features as well. And it does say it has an extended US theatrical release version. Then I picked up this Jess Franco noir double feature, which has Death Whistles the Blues and Rififi in the City. And these actually look great. Two black and white noir flicks and, not necessarily giallos or anything like that. And it does have a special feature, Franco Noir, an interview with Stephen Thrower, author of The Murderous Passions of the Delirious Cinema of Jesus Franco. And like I've always said, if you guys don't really know who Stephen Thrower is, he actually looks like the wrestler Arn Anderson, except he's British and he wears glasses. But that's the British Arn Anderson, Stephen Thrower. He's actually a really good author, and the interviews that Severin has had him do talking about films are fucking spectacular. And then this was another one I picked up at full price, but it just kind of has a little, even though I never went to this place, has a little bit of sentimental value to me, and that's Scala, and it's about this British theater where they would show cult films and stuff, and the trailer that I saw for it reminded me a lot of this place that I used to go to when I lived in San Francisco called the Strand, where I saw John Waters talk. I saw Russ Meyer talk and got to meet him. And I went to like a William Castle festival. I went to an AIP festival, went to an Ed Wood festival. I mean, I was going to like all sorts of shit. It was always fun because, I mean, things would just be absolutely insane. So yeah, this is like a documentary and about this theater, and it's got a ton of like extras on it and whatnot. And there's a quote from John Waters on here. It said, "The Scala had magic. It was like joining a club, a very secret club, like a biker gang or something. It's like they were a country club for criminals and lunatics and people that were high, which is a good way to see movies." And you can't go wrong with that from the Pope of Trash himself, John Waters. And like he said, it was like a secret club. Like Jimmy and I, we used to belong to the Junior Cod Club, but that's another story in itself. So that for now is pretty much the pickups and everything. There's still a little bit more from the Severin, but that's going to be in my top five. I didn't want to kind of spoil that, but I mean, I'm not spoiling it by what it is, but that's just yeah, there from that. So let's see. All right, so yeah, I've done enough talking. So Juno, if you want to get started with your top five, you can, and then we'll just take turns and go from there.
Mhm. Yeah, when like number five, my physical media that I have is Hannibal Rising, the Walmart edition.
So you
I
forego. You, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So real quick. So you forego winning to your shitty Walmart to pick that up. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that was just it was. I got this months ago when it was Halloween.
Let me put you up on the
Yep,
solo layout there and stuff.
I got this months ago in Halloween month, and surprisingly, they put the new Lionsgate intro in it, so it is actually a new Lionsgate Blu-ray, even though it's not remastered, but it does have the new Lionsgate logo, and I do enjoy this movie. Enjoy this movie. It's a pretty cool steelbook, even though the first half is kind of slow, but it's not a bad prequel because I have seen some really shitty prequels, and some of the steelbooks from Walmart is aren't well done, even though usually they don't have nothing, but and it's always a piece of crap. But I like that it has that line, "I come to collect your
Oh,
head,"
that's yeah.
and I do like this cover. It's kind of gruesome because it's kind of like his head, Hannibal's head is kind of cut open, so like it's pretty badass. And I'm just glad it's not like a repackaged. Like a few of these steelbooks that I have gotten, they are repackaged Blu-ray disc, but this one is actually remastered. 'Cause it actually has the new Lionsgate logo and a new menu. So like that's cool, and
Very
just happy
cool.
to own this one. Yeah, I remember seeing this on Tubi and not minding this movie. So like that's cool that this one wasn't a bad release. Something good out of the shitty Walmart. Number five is Cannibal Rising.
Nice. So I'm gonna get you
Uh-huh.
off here for a sec, and then yeah. So I just wanted quickly to go through the chat, and we have Todd Christian in here, and I was hoping you'd show up tonight, Todd. So I'm glad that you're here, and Greg Brewer is also in the house and stuff. Um, and Greg seems to have your consensus on the Hannibal. He said he saw that on Tubi a while ago and whatnot. And Rosalia is here, and then of course Russell Collier is here, and so we
Uh-huh.
got a nice house, like I said. Even though this was kind of a off the cuff kind of decision and stuff, and I know other people are streaming and all that, and Rosie's here. She's going back and forth, and I appreciate that. I figured that's what was going to go on and stuff like that. And I mean, I appreciate you
Yeah.
guys, coming in on a Saturday night when I'm sure, somebody could, you guys could be out, causing crimes or, watching some of that satanic Hallmark shit or, nah, I know you guys really wouldn't do that, but, the usual kind of, stuff that we all do on a Saturday night.
Mhm.
So, Jimmy says here that Hannibal Rising is great, just like the book. Very well done. So there,
Yeah.
yeah, there we go. All right.
Pretty
So
well structured. Pretty cool.
yeah. So did you have any honorable mentions or whatever? I mean, we can do
No, I
those.
just have
Oh, you just have
I don't have
those.
any honorable. I just only have five.
Oh, okay. Um, I guess I'll do. I have a couple of honorable mentions. I'll do those at the end then. So let me see here. I kind of pulled everything together and uh, instead of you doing a rant, Juno, I might have a rant tonight.
Okay.
Uh, Let me see. I just want to have all this stuff close to me so I can. Okay, so let's see. Um, well, I'm gonna go with. No, I'll save that as an honorable mention. So for number five, I'm gonna go with Shawscope again because I mean you can't.
Oh shit. I think Texas kicked himself out. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. Texas will be back. That happens to all of us. We accidentally kicked ourselves out of the stream. But when I say hi to everybody, hey there, Jason. Hey there, Tester. Hey there, Greg. Hey everybody. Yep, we're put on a pause. Texas will be back. I think he got kicked. I think he got kicked out by accident. That happens to all of us. But yeah, just looking forward this year. Hey there, Texas.
Hey, thanks. Sorry. Whoops.
That happens, man. No biggie.
I didn't know that I had done that all of a sudden. Went to hit the solo layout. See, that's fucked up because they have the remove from stage at the very top. They should have that at the bottom so they
Yeah.
don't, do that. Anyway, I'm back, everybody. Yeah. So yeah, so Shasko, that's my number five. I mean, there are I think like 13. Let's see. Yeah, about 14 movies on here and tons of bonus features, and you get the CD with the music, and you get disc 9 with a lot of the bonus features and things like that. But I'll run down the movies again from this one since I didn't do all of them. But you got One Armed Swordsman, Return of the Armed Swordsman, the new One Armed Swordsman, Lady Hermit, Intimate Confessions of a Chinese Courtesan, The 14 Amazons, The Magic Blade, Clans of Intrigue, Jade Tiger, The Sentimental Swordsman, The Avenging Eagle, Killer Constable, Buddha's Palm, and Bastard Swordsman. So there's a lot of fucking swordsmen in this piece. So, you know, and this, as you could see, it's the green box. So you have the first one's like blue, second one's red, and now green. So we'll see if they're going to do another one next year. All right, Juno.
All right. For my number four is Frank Henkelotter's Basket Case.
Very good.
Awesome movie. I don't know if there's a remake, but this does not need a remake because it's a one and done masterpiece, and it has that grittiness of the '70s era because it has that unique mean street kind of factor from New York, and I like the filmmaking style that they did. And Frank Hegelotter did a good job with the filmmaking of the stop motion, of the Belial character, and even the build up too. Is really well done, suspenseful, especially the way it opens.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It, it makes you think that you're watching like you're watching a giant rat movie or something because he's like he's crawling through the walls and stuff, and he's trying to get this doctor, and the doctor's trying to call for the cops, and yeah, that was actually a cool opening. Yep, nice
I,
release by Arrow Video
right. Oh,
with the original poster. Yeah, with the original poster, the tenant in the room 7 is very small and very twisted and very mad. Yeah, beware Belial. And it has a shit ton of special features, man. Like most of that stuff is a lot of interviews, man. Like they packed it, like worth
yeah.
the money, man.
I think they, pretty much ported everything over from the Blu-ray
Yeah,
version and stuff.
yeah. And
But I
also
mean, oh,
they
go ahead.
they 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 also include everything like the portion of the you said the Blu-ray, and of course they gave it a 4K scan, which still looks good. It's still grainy, but it's not a bad transfer. Like at least you get like something with it. Even the slipcover for the original Blu-ray is out of print, but at least I got I got this on sale. Like this one was like on sale for $20,
Oh, not bad.
and yeah, like this is what's worth it. Arrow Video includes a booklet and a poster.
Oh yeah.
So like to me, this gives Shit Factory a bad run for its money because like Arrow Video's just kicking their asses. Like that makes you want to buy the set instead. They buy Blu-ray from Arrow
Shit.
Video instead.
I think I'd almost buy like a double dip on that just so I could get two posters and frame them both. You know.
Yeah, like because that's what's cool about Arrow Video. They just include the original and then they include the new artwork. Like it's just like something special about it because it's just like you're getting something worth for your money, not like oh a lazy piece of crap release where it's just a slip cover and then just the two discs with Shit Factory. And then the booklet even has a comic book, even though it's a little bit of an essay, but it has like a comic book, which is badass.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, like he's like ripping somebody's head off in a park.
Yeah, that's one
Yeah,
of the.
this is a badass movie.
It's I yeah, Todd says, that it's classic, and it certainly is.
Yeah.
I like two and three as well. I mean, two
Hmm.
is really good. I mean, three is kind of a little not so great. But then on that,
Yeah.
Blu-ray, there's a kind of a
Mhm.
thing that he did, a short film, kind of detailing a little bit of stuff that
Yeah.
he had left out of the movie, where like they drive to Frank Henenlotter's house or something weird.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Kevin
also
and Belial.
what's included is Fighting Back, which is another good one.
Right. The postcard for those. Yeah, they sometimes I think they throw random postcards in certain ones, but we did a awesome stream for that. I love that movie.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Definitely well surprised from last year. But yeah, number four is Basket Case by Frank Henenlotter, director of Brain Damage and Frankenhooker. Badass movie.
So let's see, I'm gonna go. I'll do, go for, my next one. Okay, well, this was, I mean, a couple of these were hard choices and what to kind of pull together, but I'm gonna go with this collector's version of Don't Look Now. I mean, this movie is
Hmm.
fucking amazing. It's got all these sort of giallo elements and stuff, but I mean, it's one of the most. I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, when I finally saw this several years ago, I mean, if you've never seen this, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it's one of these things. It just comes out the fuck out of
Hmm.
nowhere, and you're like, "Whoa, wait, what the fuck is going on?" And it's just so mind blowing and stuff. And I just, man, it's fucking amazing. But they added in this the soundtrack to it, and I guess some uh, art cards, a poster, and there's brand new bonus content on this thing. And I just wanted to get this thing before it like disappeared. And so that's my number four. This took a lot of flack too, like in the '70s when it was made, because there's some, you know, it's not like hardcore sex, but there's a really, like heavy sex scene, and it actually, I think they actually used like body doubles for it, but doesn't matter. I mean, the movie itself is just wild, and Donald Sutherland is amazing, and Julie Christie too. So, yeah, that's my number four. But I just wanted to we got heroic waffles in the house, and we've got Shamarlo Scott. You know,
Hey,
Shamarlos ate
yeah,
chicken, so
hey, waffles.
you know,
Hey, God.
Shamarlos is in the club as always because he's eating and whatever. But yeah, it's great to see waffles here and stuff.
Good to see you, waffles.
So yeah, I just wanted to check on the chat, and then I'll swing it back over to you, Juno, for your number three.
Yeah, number three. Yeah, man, I know it's a remake that Texas may not like, but I enjoy this movie. It's the Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, not Chainsaw. I mean, Friday the 13th remake. I almost said Chainsaw, but because it's Platinum Dunes.
Or as I like to call it, platinum dudes. But whatever.
Because it is directed by the same guy who did the Chainsaw Massacre remake. That's why it could be confusing. Because they even interviewed the guy on this set of the Arrow video release.
Right.
I do enjoy this movie. I do feel like the music isn't that good because I feel like it's just a bunch of loud crap music, but because it's like tame compared to the original series music, but I do enjoy some of the brutal kills in it, and damn, this has got to be the most vicious Friday 13 movie out there, up there with part 7 and part was it Jason Goes to Hell? That's also another gruesome Friday 13 movie, and Freddy versus Jason. And yeah, of course, you get Arrow Video's recommendation of reversible artwork. None of that lazy crap where it's just one artwork. You get the original poster and 2 disc sets of 2 cuts, which I thought this was better than the New Line Blu-ray because that New Line Blu-ray sucked because I could not know what version I was watching because it had like a shitty menu. But at least this was better because you get 2 cuts that on 2 separate discs, and you got the booklet that Arrow Video gives you that badass release, and like you get like the booklet that looks like a news article,
Oh, that's
paper
cool.
article, which like it's pretty badass. Like it even like says like oh 20 drowns missing and all that stuff. Like and of course you get the essay about the movie and even like still shots. Yeah, Derek Mears I thought was pretty cool as Jason. Like he is probably the most brutal Jason. Like there's a lot of brutal kills in this movie, and of course you get a postcard that's included, which is pretty awesome. Like welcome to Camp Crystal Lake, and like Arrow Video gives you the actual posters that's included with the OG remake poster. Uh, yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. I mean, I don't have that much of a problem with the movie. I just feel like the plot is a little, ridiculous because it's just like, okay, you got this guy, who's obviously a murderer, but you don't know why is he growing pot, and so it's just sort of like where did he learn
Yeah.
that from, That's the thing that I don't understand. I'm just kind of like, well, it's a little like ridiculous, but the fact that like Nana Visitor was like, had
Hmm.
the mother role, I thought was great. The kills are fucking great, I mean, I totally give it up for that. Always forget that Marcus Nispel directed that, even though, eh, you know, I mean, nothing against him, but the guy was like a video director. That's where he got his start doing music videos and whatnot.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, other
Yeah.
guys have done that. Like Russell
And
McKay.
Arrow, yeah, Arrow really even used the postcard, and they also released this one, which I would like to pick up one day. Is Demolition Man with Stallone and Snipes.
Right.
So like that's cool that they put all their postcard posters of all their releases. I even heard Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X are gonna get 4K. So like that's awesome.
I mean,
Like hopefully, like maybe because they also because this is also a Paramount, even though it's a Warner Bros. But it's a Paraprick title.
right.
Hopefully, maybe they get the original 8 movies with separate 4K releases, and hopefully we get like really good releases from Arrow because I give the ball to them. I feel like they're they're kicking Screen Factory's butt with the releases. No disc replacement program crap, none of that stuff. Like their stuff is really well done. No audio issues. Some they may have hiccups with some audio issues, but there's always like they always like never screw everybody over. So like I feel like they're the best company out there, and I like this new artwork because it has the Elephant Man, Jason, and the hockey mask split in half with
Right.
the newspaper. So like I'll admit, like I kind of like prefer that new artwork because I think that artwork looks awesome. Even the title logo looks awesome.
Yeah,
And
they
yeah,
did a great job with that. It looks great. I mean, I'd probably even pick that up myself.
yeah, it was upgraded. It was a better upgrade over that crappy New Line Blu-ray. Like that New Line Blu-ray, I could not know what version I was even watching because they had like a crappy way to see which one is the killer cut and which one's the actual cut. That was like a really crappy Blu-ray, but this one was more upgraded because you get 2 cuts in separate discs, and that's a great release. Like I feel like Arrow really was gonna be killing it with a lot of titles. Like I can't wait to like even though Jason Goes to Hell is kind of a sucky movie, I'm hyped up for that one. But yeah, number 3 is Friday the 13th remake, and I like that Trent gets killed in the movie, which is the most asshole character in a horror movie.
So we have Caleb Booth stopped by, and Anthony Chobot does, his usual thingamalang. And of course, we have Ginger Ninja is in the house, and it is Larry the Cat Dad, you know. So
Hey
yeah, and,
Larry,
and Larry, he got 1K, so that's awesome. We gotta give that up, for Larry, because that's cool. Glad he glad he did.
congratulations, Larry.
I'll
Yeah,
probably like in 2 years reach 300.
yeah,
So hey,
yeah.
but
Whoever
that's all
did,
right.
yeah, Larry, whoever did this artwork, Larry, I agree, did a good job.
Yeah,
Like that's the thing. That's the thing that Arrow's doing is they're even delivering artwork. None of that lazy crap. Yep. Now it's your turn, Texas.
so yeah, I just wanted to go through here real quick. And Anthony says he's got 719 subs, so that's
Anthony,
cool. Gary Pullen is the guy's artist name,
yeah,
so there we go with that.
I don't know. Yeah, think, yeah, he did a good job. I don't know. I kind of prefer this over the original poster. I just feel like this one's more badass.
But I thought, we'd take a little slight break here for just a second.
No, we don't teach Kung Fu. We teach karate.
We don't teach karate.
So I thought that we should show that more often. And then we have this, of course. Stand around in the rain. Where I suddenly appeared as Neville Brand for like 6 seconds and eaten alive. So, okay. So, number three for me, like I said, kind of doing the numbers thing with this was it's like, where do I go? What do I do? So, number two and three are kind of, they're kind of irreversible. So, but anyway, I decided that I would use this would be number three, and this is the Game of Clones, the Bruce Exploitation Collection, Volume One, and this is 12 of the Bruce Exploitation classics plus the documentary Enter the Game of Clones, which is fucking great. I really enjoyed that. There's a 100-page booklet of essays, posters, and rare photos, and over 23 combined hours of special features. So you get a lot of stuff. So basically, for those of you that aren't familiar with Bruce exploitation, although I know Russell is because he calls everybody Bruce because he's a whack job, as he says. Those are his own words, not me. So I'm not insulting anybody. But the thing is, Bruce exploitation actually, when Bruce Lee died, these filmmakers were like hot on the thing. Oh, we've got to find other guys that look like him, and we got to make a ton of fucking movies and make a lot of money. And so that's what they did. Some, good, and some apparently not so good. And you had Bruce Lee, Bruce, I'm dead. No, you might as well. But I mean, they actually do have one where it's supposed to show his funeral and just some weird stuff. I'm gonna pull this out here and see. There's some of the titles of these, but like I said, the documentary is just absolutely amazing. And there's a ton of like outtakes and stuff. But some of these guys, they're still going and not necessarily making movies, but they're pretty good at what they did. So you have the Clones of Bruce Lee, Enter Three Dragons, Enter the Game of Death, Goodbye Bruce Lee, His Last Game of Death. Let's see, we got The Dragon Lives Again, Bruce and the Iron Finger. Let's see, you got Challenge of the Tiger, Cameroon Connection. Let's see, Super Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. The Dragon Lives. Let's see what else we got. The Dragon, the Hero, Rage of the Dragon, and then there's a special one that was they did. I guess when they got it too late. Or no, actually, it was a disc that was like it was for this if you bought this box set, and that movie is in the envelope, please. Fuck, I don't remember what the fuck that was because it doesn't show the thing unless I missed it. It's not even printed on the disc. What the hell is up with that? And the hell. See, no, that's not that one. I'll check on the back because it's like I said, this was off the cuff and it wasn't like. Let's see, what does it say? It doesn't even say on the back of the fucking box. I forget, but it's something, yeah, that was, relevant to the box, and that's the only way you could get it. But I think it's weird that they just threw that in an envelope. And it's like, hi, I'm gonna. But like, the booklet's cool as fuck because it has, all these like, you know, posters
Hmm.
and uh, different things. One of the articles, Exit the Dragon, enter the clones and stuff. Just trying to see if it mentions that one. But they go through like, it's a vast history stuff, and everything. Um, I think it now that I'm kind of recalling, I think it's Game of Death 2, which yeah, I think that's it. Because that's the one that's not listed. So, and apparently that movie was really rarely seen and hard to find. So, not anymore, kids. So yeah, I highly suggest this box. I'm going to delve into these movies, sooner than later. But like I did watch the documentary, and that was massive. It was good. It's about 3 hours, but definitely worth it.
That's a nice box.
Yeah, I was really glad that I picked that thing up. So, Juno, what's you're at number 2 now?
Yeah, yeah.
All
Number
right.
two, speaking of Bruce Lee, is The Crow with his son Brandon Lee on 4K. And yes, this is the one and only Crow movie that I would ever buy on 4K. Then that new piece of shit Bill Skarsgård movie that sucked. I feel like this is a great movie, and seeing the transfer, it's beautiful. It's much more improvement over that Blu-ray transfer that we had for years. Like, even though like a lot of us don't own 4Ks, but I had to say this is a beautiful transfer of a movie. Even though you do see some grain in it, it just feels like a clean print. They even have the original Miramax logo intro with the big M symbol. Like that just kind of feels nostalgia, man. Like really well done transfer, badass movie. Even though it's basic with the no artwork on disc, but I just feel like this is a great 4K. A lot better than the stupid remake that, in my opinion, was kind of a disrespectful remake, and rightfully so. It failed because nobody gave a shit about watching that. Because a lot of people did not want to see a fucking remake. Because a lot of people even found it insulting. Like you're gonna remake a movie that Brandon Lee died. That's kind of fucking petty shit, in my opinion. But to me, this one was the one is the one and only one that's good. Some of the sequels or whatever are mixed, but this will always be the best Crown movie. And I personally love this movie. Rest in peace, Brandon Lee. Yeah, it's just that remake is it's just a huge ass mess, generic, boring. Bill Skarsgård and that Twix lady, wherever they didn't have no chemistry. But yeah, that remake sucked. But this one, I rather own than buy that because I did see that piece of crap remake Steelbook at Walmart, which is a piece of shit. But no, I rather buy this. This is the one to go to. Fuck that remake, in my opinion. But the Crow 4K looks beautiful. Definitely one of the best. Because of course it's released by Paraprix, which I don't like that company. And I would say the only con with this is that the menu is kind of shitty because there's no music. It's just a screen and then just the chapters and listing, the extras. That's it. And yeah, I kind of wish there was an uncut version where they had the extended shootouts, because the shootout scene is pretty vicious and pretty John out of John Woo kind of shit. Because there's a lot of action in that shootout where he meets up with Top Dollar and all the gang bangers and all that shit. Where he has to shoot out the uncut stuff that's in the deleted scene is pretty damn vicious. Like hopefully we might get a re-release 4K with an uncut version, but I still think this is a masterpiece, and that remake is a piece of crap. And that was number two for the
No,
Pro.
I like uncut versions too. Oh, you said versions. Never mind. Shit. Sorry about that.
Yeah, rest in peace, Brandon Lee,
Yeah. Rest in peace, Brandon Lee, Tony
and
Todd.
Tony Todd. Yeah, can't
Yeah.
forget about him.
And then
He was also in
that
the
other
loop.
dude that was in the movie that killed
Michael
himself.
Massey.
Yeah, Michael Massey.
Yeah, that dude. Rest in peace, Michael Massey, Brandon Lee, and Tony Todd. Yeah, just because yeah, we sadly lost three actors from this movie. Rest in peace.
So okay, my my number two. Um, this was something that I already own the movies from the Kino Lorber like sets, but um, trying to see here. So this fucking a. Let me look at this because I'm sorry that I'm kind of off the cuff tonight with some things. Yeah, this was a box set by 88 Films, and this is the Flesh and Blood Show, and this is the horror films of Pete Walker. This guy made a bunch of fucking like horror films like in the 70s, British horror films, and like late 60s, early 70s. And man, this guy, he, I guess, apparently when he started making films, he was making like these kind of softcore, sex comedies and shit. And then he starts making some gangland films, and then he started, making these others. And I've seen most of these, but I got these because it's this set because, well, I like the way the fucking box looked, number one, and then it had like this has I guess they remastered, the new 2K remasters of the original negatives. It's got 8 art cards, a 56-page bound book featuring an introduction by Pete Walker, a lot of just different stuff, and apparently every film, which I'll talk about in a second, has a lot of brand new extras on it and stuff. So I've seen pretty much all of these, and I tell you, fucking, there's like at least like four of these that are just fucking everybody should at least see them, but you should have
Hmm.
them in your collection, which are the Flesh and Blood Show, House of Whipcord, Frightmare, which is one of my favorites, the comeback with singer Jack Jones, of the who sang the Love Boat theme, or as I like to say, the Fuck Boat, because that's really what that show was, the Fuck Boat. Um, uh, and then I even, there's another one, Schizo, and then the comeback, but Frightmare, and there's several movies called Frightmare, but this is from '74. This fucking movie is so fucking crazy. It's like about these two old people that were in an insane asylum to get released, and it turned out that they were cannibals and shit, and like the husband's trying to hide the fact that his wife is still a cannibal. He's kind of like okay, but like their daughter, they have two daughters. One's kind of this promiscuous, like kind of chick going around hanging out with Russell Collier, and like what whatever, But then the main daughter, she's bringing, you know body parts or whatever to her mom, things, that her mom can kind of snack on, like, well, actually not body parts. It's kind of like, I think it's like animal meat or some shit. But then her, she's trying, but her mother, of course, has this insatiable thirst. And so, there's a few people that get, kind of get snuffed out because the younger daughter is bringing them to the mom, and then and I don't want to give the whole thing away because it's got this fucking whacked out ending that, it's one of those like, don't look now, you don't fucking expect it. And you're like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on here? You know? And so, and the other one, House of Whipcord, my God, it's brutal. It's like this guy is getting these young, well, early 20s women, taking them to this place, and they're usually kind of used not really as sex slaves, but man, this one woman like tortures the shit out of them, and it's absolutely like nuts. And there's this woman actress, Sheila Keith, and it's kind of a trip because she, I didn't know much about her until I started watching these films. And this woman, she was an older lady and she knew how to fucking pile this fucking diminished shit on. I mean, just, I'm like, wow. And then I was reading up on her, like, you know, um, filmography. And apparently she was, she later went from these sadistic roles to like grandmotherly roles and stuff like that. So it's a real trip. But I've actually talked to people on YouTube that had actually mentioned Pete Walker or something. And this one guy said that he met her and she was like one of the most kindest people that he had ever met. She said she was just, lovely, a lovely woman. And and that's kind of what I thought, but I mean, I've never seen like a woman though, man, take a role and just be absolutely, batshit crazy as she was, maybe besides Joan Crawford or something, but man, but these movies are fucking amazing. And this even has, the movie Flesh and Blood Show has a 3D sequence that's, you get glasses as well to watch those, but you can see it in 3D or in 2D as well. And so, yeah, that's the Flesh and Blood Show. There's also one too. I was going to mention. I think I'm going to actually check my Kino ones real quick because there's a couple of movies that are on the Kino one that aren't on this, but they're kind of lesser ones. Let's see, what was the um, oh yeah, Home Before Midnight isn't on this, but that's an interesting one as well. And two other movies, The Big Switch and Man of Violence, which are more like gangster flicks, kind of.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, man, there's some good, great stuff. But yeah, I think it's House of Mortal Sin, and that's got this one soap opera actor from General Hospital, which I had noticed, when I first watched it, and I was like, "Holy shit!" What's and I mean, it's real early, way before he was even on the show. And I told this ex-girlfriend of mine about that because she, loves General Hospital, and I was like, "Hey, I can't remember his name off at the cuff, but his character's name was Robert Scorpio." And I said, "Hey, I saw Robert Scorpio in a fucking horror movie." She's like, "You gotta be kidding me." I was like, "Nope." So, yeah, that, it's some good stuff. And Todd says, that's an awesome box set. He loves Frightmare as well. And it's one of the coolest theatrical posters he's ever seen. And Sheila Keith is fantastic. I, I, I watched Frightmare on a whim. I mean, I had read about it, and it was actually on Prime for a while, and I watched it, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "This is great." And then I noticed that Arrow on their channel, they put up most of these movies like last year or the year before. So I watched all of them. And then I noticed that Kino had those, and I picked those up for Christmas, I think the year before last. And then, this one, I was just like, man, I got to get this. There's certain things that you can't help but double dip on. So, yeah. So that's the Flesh and Blood show. All right,
It's pretty
Juno,
fun.
give us your number one.
Okay, my number one is like a martial art movie, as I do like martial art movies. Yep, and it's JCVD's Kickboxer on 4K.
Oh, shit. My bad. Forgot to put you up there. Yeah. That's a great still book, though. Particular cover is fucking great.
Yeah, this was really good release, man. Like, sadly, like this is not sold at shitty Walmart, but who gives a crap? I got this on Amazon, and luckily I got my steelbook in good condition. It wasn't beat up or anything. But yeah, that they gave it like a really nice artwork to it. Like they were not giving you a cheap ass release. Yeah, JCVD kicking Michelle Kissy's ass as Tong Po, and yeah, that's a that's an awesome fight at the end of the movie. The way it's cinematography and well structured with stunts and fighting at the end, like the fighting scenes are pretty badass, and even the disc has artwork. Like they're not cheap ass on the disc, so like they give you like artwork on the disc, so like that's pretty badass. Even like one with the hand is like crushing the glass at the end.
Oh, nice.
And then you also get more artwork behind it with Tong Po and Kurt Stallone, two characters that they fight at the end of the movie.
Nice.
And to me, this is a movie that I know many people may kind of shit on it, but I think this is a badass movie, man. Like this is like I'll take this over the stupid Roadhouse remake, which to me that was a piece of shit remake that insulted a lot of fighting movies. Because like to me that had like CGI garbage fighting. But what's also badass about this release, it has new interviews, and they finally got JCVD interviewed for this movie because he wasn't interviewed for Hard Target or Cyborg, but he was finally interviewed for Kickboxer, and that's awesome. Even Michelle Kissy, who played Tong Po, the main villain, he's interviewed, and then Dennis Chan, who played JCD, JCVD's mentor, Mr. Zian, he's interviewed. So like you get good interviews, and also the third disc is an international version, so you get like another cut of the movie.
Jesus, 3 discs. That's fucking great.
Yeah, because the first disc is the 4K, and
Oh,
then
okay.
the other disc is the Blu-ray, which has the same transfer as the 4K. So you get like new transfer cuts for Blu-ray and 4K, and then the third disc is just it's the international cut, and it's another version of the movie. And what's interesting is that Dennis Alexio, who plays JCVD's brother Eric, that you actually hear his actual acting voice in the movie because in the theatrical cut he's actually dubbed by somebody else. Where you actually hear Dennis Alexio's voice in this one in this international cut, so like that was also interesting to see that international cut. And There's a deleted scene that's pretty cool and emotional. I don't know why they cut it out of the actual cut, but it's a scene where Dennis Alexio's like breaking down in the hospital, that his legs are gone because Tong Po broke his back, and he's like telling JCVD, "You find him and you fuck him up bad. Tell him that you're a slum." Yeah, that was an emotional deleted scene that they had in the international cut. And yeah, this has got to be, in my opinion, the most badass release from Lionsgate. Like they went out with this release, like showed you that this movie deserved a really special edition. Like because for a while we only had a Blu-ray for this one, but it was a cheap ass release because it had no features and it had a mediocre transfer. But now we got a badass remastered release with a badass steelbook that is well put effort. Like Lionsgate has been killing it with these new releases. Like we've been getting new releases 4K for like Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 and the Jackie Brown movies, and then we've been getting the other Lionsgate films that are coming out. But this is a badass martial arts film. I hope some more martial art films get released, like Showdown Little Tokyo gets like a special edition release. Only the Strong gets a special edition release, and other titles, even like some more JCVD titles get special edition release. But Kickboxer has to be one of the most badass physical media releases of the year, in my opinion, and I feel like this is the best one in my top five that I picked because this is a movie that is a bit underrated too because it did get shit on by everybody because some people say it's a cheesy movie, but I find it as more of a badass film to watch because even the way it ends, you get like this badass fight that's vicious, and they're fucking each other up with gloves that are glued with glasses, and they're just beating the fuck out of each other. So like, you're not getting like a cheesy ass movie, even though like you do get a goofy dancing, but that's iconic as well. But I like this movie. Kickboxer kicks ass, and it's well released, and I thank Lionsgate giving us a badass release and a lot of love for that film. That's my release. Is my favorite release of 2024 physical media is Kickboxer with John Claude Van Damme kicking ass and taking on names like a motherfucker.
Why don't you go through the five,
Mhm.
just real quick, re-show them for people that might have missed them.
Yeah. Yeah. Number five is Hannibal Rising, the prequel to the Hannibal Lecter character. Steelbook from Walmart. Nice steelbook. Number four is Basket Case, Frank Hagelauder's classic film from the 80s, splatter movie that's kick ass. And Friday the 13th remake, great underrated remake. I do think this remake is underrated and awesome. Great release by Arrow. The Crow, 4K, beautiful transfer, well respected movie that got a nice, really good special edition release. And rest in peace, Brandon Lee, Tony Todd, and Michael Massey. And that remake sucks. And then the best number one is the Kickboxer 4K, released by Lionsgate, and this movie is firmly underrated and still kicks ass. Like they put effort for that fucking release. Like even though it was a bit much for like $34 to buy it, I'll tell you folks, if you ever see this on Amazon, definitely pick it up. It's a must own because you're even getting another cut of the film. So like and new interviews that's that are pretty good. Kickboxer number one. That's my top five of physical media for 2024.
Fuck yeah, very good, Juno. Awesome. So yeah, we seem to have a lot of JCVD fans in the house, which is cool.
Yeah,
So,
I'll say he's better than Steven Seagal because to me, the ABC is much better. Because Steven Seagal's a badass.
who? Never heard of him. He doesn't
Yeah,
exist
he's
in
off
my
in
world. You know, he
he's
doesn't
living
exist.
in Russia, so nobody's gonna see him in another movie where he dubs his voice.
Well, you know, he doesn't exist in my world. So, yeah, I don't, you know.
Yeah, and he's a wife. He's a woman. He's a woman beater too. So
But,
shows you that guy's an ass.
so, yeah, I'm gonna show my number. Actually, it's number ones, but um, first off and foremost, I ordered a bundle here, and so I got some ephemera, that I'm gonna show a little bit of it. But one of the things that was included was this awesome. Well, yeah, let me put myself on solo. This Russ Meyer Bosom Mania T-shirt. So we all love yams and stuff. So here we go. Um, but they put a lot of stuff in an envelope, so I got to kind of drag this out. And I'm kind of being careful with this. It's like the secret agent envelope. So I hate these envelopes. They could have just not had the clasp. They could have just, thank God they didn't, seal it. But anyway, because before I get to the good stuff and my rant, but so let's see here. Um, this was one of I got a Super Vixen's, VHS cover, but the piece of de resistance is this autographed Erica Gavin Vixen VHS cover. And then we have a little booklet here regarding his, fold it over so it's kind of hard. His says his double-breasted dreadnoughts, and pretty much talking about his book that he did called A Clean Breast. And I don't even know if this is, still available, but that fucking thing is like $200, but you get 3 giant books and whatnot. And so this, just talks a lot about, his has his biography, has the synopsises to all of the films, at least, that came out, on his RM International Inc. Because he pretty much owned his films, except for Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, and then which is 20th Century Fox, and also Black Snake and the 7 Minutes. And I'm hoping somehow, somewhere, somebody gets Black Snake and 7 Minutes out, because I've never seen those, and I know they're bootlegs of Black Snake, I believe, but I'm not going to buy any fucking inferior bootlegs. I want the real deal. So yeah, I've got a business card. You could probably call that number and ask to speak to him, but he's kind of dead. So yeah, that's not going to happen. I think there was a little. Yeah, I got like 3. Oh, well, 2 more business cards. One says Super Vixens and one says Vixen on it, just like the others. And I see Jim's movie channel is here. Good to see you, Jim. I was
Hey,
hoping
Jim.
you would get in. And then there was also one other thing. Oh, just another little thing talking about clean breast and all that. So yeah, that was the fantastic film I showed up. I didn't go for the big bundle, which was basically the same thing. Oh, and there's also a Super Vixens postcard in here. Yay! I don't even think I noticed that before. I just realized. But yeah, the big bundle had everything that this one had, with the exceptions of you got a Super Vixens keychain, which that would have been kind of cool. But you got uh, two of the vinyl soundtracks that were autographed by Russ Meyer himself, and then you got a CD, one CD of the one of the soundtracks, which was like their choice or whatever. But I have the CDs, somewhere around and whatnot, and plus it was a lot more money than what I paid for this. I mean, the main thing was, the T-shirt's cool and all, but I mean, that's what I was for. I was basically really for the Erica Gavin autograph. And so, getting to the main meat of the package, or the big breast, as we should say, is Russ Meyer's Vixen, Super Vixens, and Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixens. And so this is the Vixens trilogy, obviously, and they are the first to come out. There's two more movies that Dave Gregory was able to license from RM Films International and whatnot, and I'm not sure what those will be. He's trying to work to hopefully get the full catalog put out, which is something that Juno, I remember when we did the Beyond the Valley of the Owls, and how I was talking about, these movies, man, you can't get them. They're all like, fucking, they're somehow messed up. They had put out these, they had Blu-rays, but they were charging like $80, and who the fuck is going to pay $80? I mean, that's the rate that people are charging now for a lot of things. But I mean, it was ridiculous. They still had VHS around, because I would randomly sometimes check the website, but there was a lot of stuff that was out of print, and even like DVD, the prices were outrageous. And so, I mean, I was like, who the hell is actually handling this stuff? I mean, to me, because there's so many people that actually they kind of they say that, oh, this is porn. It's not porn. I mean, the guy was a World War II photographer. He got his start doing what they call nudies, and his films contain action, violence, and big-breasted women. That's it. He wasn't a pornographer. He wasn't interested in hardcore porn, sex movies, and a lot of people, you know, these youngins, I shall say, that don't know this stuff. That's what they, I don't know. Is it this generation doesn't, well, except for you, a few other people, or a few exceptions, like don't bother to fucking read. I mean, this man was a fucking genius. He took all his movies and he edited them. He did everything, you know, cast the movies himself, maybe with some nefarious means. I don't know. And I'm not, no, I just know that a lot of his women, they in his films, they liked him, he liked them, and whatever and whatnot, and then he had a couple of ex-wives, but, they helped him out, with a lot of his movies and stuff. And so very, I'm on like a Juno rant right now. I don't like the fact that an auteur, is deemed a pornographer, which is complete bullshit, and stuff. I mean, that's just like saying anybody that has naked women in their films is a pornographer, Some dumb people say that, but it's bullshit, So,
Yeah.
we need more breasts in films. I will say that, You know, you know, I mean, you look at all the slashers you had back in the 80s, you always got, you know, breasts. So why not have, you know, more breasts? Good looking breasts, for Christ's sakes. Jesus, you know? I mean, right here, Todd Christian says, well said, Texas. Russ Myers, who was a fantastic director, and it's a shame that some mischaracterize his contribution to cinema. It is. I mean, it's bullshit. I mean, like when I was discussing, you know, with Sean and Juno, I was like, man, this is a shame that this man's movies aren't, you know, out in a good format and that they're probably going to get lost to time. Next thing I know, I see this thing on one of the groups that I belong to on Facebook, and this guy showed a picture of Super Vixens, and he said, this is coming from Severin. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious? And he's like, yeah. I said, what else? Is it the whole catalog? Because Arrow actually, I guess, back in like 2018, put out a box set or something, you know, and it's been long out of print. So I'm just like, what the fuck? You know, is it, you know, what's, you know, is it like, you know, I asked the guy, I said, so is the whole thing coming out? And he goes, well, this is the only thing that they showed. And then soon enough, the news came out that the Vixens trilogy was coming out. If you go to Severin's website, there's a fucking great article on there that talked about the work that Dave Gregory had to put through on this to get these movies out. And, you know, I was elated when I found that out because I was like, I told Sean, I'm like, holy shit, this is a fucking dream come true. You know, I said, Christmas is coming early, man, you know, and these films rightly deserve everything, you know. As far as they go, too, I'll go through a little bit. This one, Vixen, was actually the first film of his I ever saw, and it's got Erica Gavin in it, who, you know, I've always, you know, had a massive crush on her and stuff. She's been in a few women in prison flicks and, you know, a few other things, and then she owned like a fashion boutique and stuff. Had some problems with anorexia and some things, but man, I still think she looks good, you know. But this movie, I mean, you know, they say that, you know, you know, Russ Meyer was, you know, he was anti-commie and whatnot, and you know, cool, God bless him. You know, this movie is a weird deal where like she's, you know, Vixen is this character who's all, she's like, you know, she's got a marriage and everything, but she kind of strays out of it, and but you know, she kind of likes the swingers, and you know, there's some, you know, kind of racial elements that are in it, but that was probably due to the times and stuff. And you know, I don't want to go into the whole movie. It's got to be seen, you know, really. But you know, basically the synopsis is like she's not evil, but she's just kind of this mean, you know, woman, and you know, but you know, that doesn't stop her from getting what she wants, let's say. And then really Super Vixens and Beyond, Beneath the Valley of the Older Vixens, like his last film was Beneath the Valley. You know, they're goofy. They're, you know, they're kind of, you know, crazy and stuff. And you've got like, you know, Charles Napier's and Super Vixens. I think John Lazar, also from Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, is in that one as well. And you know, they're good films, fun films. I don't give a fuck. You know, like I said, you know, what you know, you can't, you know, I mean, it's sort of like if I said that I thought, you know, John Carpenter was a hack, you know, or some shit like that. That his movies had no substance whatsoever, and that is, you know, and stuff like that, you know, which I don't. But I mean, I'm just trying to show how stupid that is to judge, you know, stuff like that. If you don't like it, cool, you know, I don't give a fuck. You know, I don't give a fuck whether you like it or you don't. You know, I'm just saying that though this man doesn't deserve to be like mischaracterized, as like Todd said, because it's just bullshit, you know. And these movies are fucking works of art as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, anybody that hasn't seen Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, I mean, you have a lame ass hairband that named themselves after that fucking movie. So I mean, there you go. Oh, and also Rob Zombie's Thunder Kiss 65 shows footage of you know um, fucking Faster Pussycat. So right there, who the fuck's gonna tell Rob Zombie, well, you're a fucking idiot for putting that movie in your music video? Nobody. So that's all I got to say about that. So hello, Gore. Glad to see you. Russ Meyer, I guess you could say he's like Corman in the fact that he, for the most part, he did his movies, his way, writing, producing, directing, editing, everything, you know. I mean, but yeah, I think he's influential. I mean, he's influential to like a lot of people, but then of course, a lot of people don't know him. I mean, when I was in my late teens, my favorite directors, were him. Even when I hadn't seen any of his films, I read a whole shitload of stuff about him, and I was like, man, this guy sounds incredible. So I mean, he was already one of my favorite directors. John Waters, Herschel Gordon Lewis, and these men, they all knew each other. There was a British TV show based on a book called Incredibly Strange Films that was put out by Research Publications of San Francisco. And I knew the guy that was the publisher. His name's V. Vale, and he put out a lot of interesting books. He had some, I mean, some stuff that I was like, well, I don't know about this, but whatever, But his Incredibly Strange Films book is excellent. He interviews John Waters. I believe it's been a while since I've looked at it, but I believe Russ Meyer was in there. Ray Dennis Steckler was in there. Um, just a lot of guys that I freaking love their movies. Because I mean, I'm not the norm, and I am the norm, I guess, because there's a lot of stuff, underground stuff that I like. And I mean, as they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And John Waters considered himself the Pope of trash. And even said, he said the best thing to do now is conform and join everybody else, because you can't play the games that you used to. And he means that in a good way, because you can still subvert and piss off the establishment by conforming sometimes. So but I'm not here on like a fucking political like slant, and just wanting to say that if you don't do your research, then you're never going to know the truth. And there you go. And it's just like, I consider us all, film fans, cinephiles, whatever. And I'm getting a lot of flack now. People talking about cinephile. That's not a good name. Say you're a film fanatic or something. Well, it doesn't matter what the fuck we are. We're just fans of movies, and that's what we love. And I don't know, man. Test your boundaries. Shit. People have watched Serbian film. I'll never watch that shit because too many people have told me, no, you don't want to see it. And I've seen enough things to,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, that's a movie that I don't even call that piece of shit a movie. I just call that I just called it stupid.
Yeah, I mean
It
Terry
just
Gilliam. He's a fucking great filmmaker. I mean,
mhm.
people think his stuff is weird, and some of it is, but he's great. Yeah, Brazil, Time Bandits. I mean, the Monty Python stuff. I mean, the dude is just, I mean, great. So, I mean, I'm just, obviously I got my reasons, and I got, I have a lot to say tonight. I mean, I've kept this pin up for a while because, somebody said on a stream, I said, well, I ordered this thing, and they said, oh, so, so you're getting porn. I'm like, no. I mean, I was like, right then and there, I didn't say anything. I was just like, I'm shutting my mouth because this is going to get out of hand, you know. So, but this is my channel, and I'll say whatever the fuck I want to say. So, and I appreciate everything that you guys say and stuff. Serbian film was banned at a horror festival, which I thought was ironic. It was apparently too
Well, fuck that
horrible.
movie.
I was just using
Fuck
that
that
as an
movie.
example. I mean, I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
like some of this Asian extreme
I
stuff,
mean,
and man, it's like, oof.
I mean,
I mean, even when you had films like, like those French films, in the mid aughts, like um, Frontiers, and Martyrs and stuff. I mean, and even what was that one we just watched recently, Inside? I mean, that movie is fucked the
yeah,
hell up. I still like it. I think it's a great film, but I'm
yeah.
like,
I
Jesus.
like, I enjoyed Inside It, and I also enjoyed Martyrs. They're not stuff I would ever see. Like, there's stuff I don't see over and over again. But I really like once in a while movies that because they're well done.
Like Greg said, he loves Life of Brian. Life of Brian. When that fucking movie came out, I was in high school, and that movie took so much shit because people were like, that movie's against God. That movie's against Jesus. They didn't know what the fuck it was. They weren't going to the movies to see it. That's the thing. People, sometimes, man, they let people dictate, too much shit to them and, try to tell them that something is evil and it's not. I mean, that's how that whole fucking video
Yeah,
nasty thing
they said
started.
that they said that with Kevin Smith's Dogma, and that's still out of print.
Oh, that's coming out, brother. He wasn't able to. Some studio bought it from Harvey Sweinstein, and it's getting a Blu-ray upgrade at least. I don't know about a 4K, and it's getting all new shit. So that's coming.
That's good. I
Yeah.
think
See.
that's an underrated movie.
Oh yeah, it's fucking great. I mean, I don't care what people's fucking beliefs are. I mean, I don't go for that shit. I mean, we joke around about a lot of things, make stupid jokes about stuff, but that's just us. It's not like, you know, I don't fucking threaten people like people have threatened me. Shit, I will state that, right now.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not naming any fucking names or anything like that. I don't give a fuck,
yeah,
but I'm just saying that, you know, nobody should tell you what not to watch or whatever. I mean, I'm honest. Like in my opinion, it's like if I see some movie and I'm like, don't waste your fucking time. That's different. Not just say, well, I don't think you should watch this because it's against, my religious beliefs or your religious beliefs or whatnot. I mean, I think people should, even if it is against their beliefs, they should still watch it, fucking learn something, decide for themselves. Don't be a fucking sheep. Sorry for the political rantness and shit. I mean, I just, I'm just pissed off, and I've been pissed off for a long time. So, you know,
but speaking like Serbian film, like because you said somebody mentioned it that it got banned. To me, that's not even a damn movie. That's just stupid crap for just shock value bullshit. Like like those like Serbian film, August Underground. Those movies I don't consider films because those are just garbage crap.
right.
Like they don't like the thing that's really bad about those movies is just like, oh, let's put awful piece of shit writing that's piss poor and make let's watch these shitty characters do horrible fucked up things and also let's put rape in it and like that's the stuff that I do not want to see a whole movie with that crap. Like that to me that stuff is just lazy garbage
Well,
stuff.
see, and you just raised a point. Because when people, calling Russ Meyer a pornographer and saying, oh, that I'm buying porn and stuff, which I'm, like I said, his films are not porn. I mean, you saw fucking Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Was there like a slight sex scene, just a lot of boobs? There's no fucking, porn in that. But see, right there, they call that stuff torture porn. So who's the fucking pornographer? There you go.
The jackasses that made Serbian film and August Underground.
Exactly, Gore. We all are adults here, but some people don't act like adults, or whatever.
Like, if I'm gonna say that I don't like a movie, I'm gonna admit, like, either I don't care for the film, or I just think the movie's not that great, and I just say that it's not my favorite movie or something. I'm not gonna sugarcoat like, oh, it was alright or average. I'm just gonna say it how I feel about the movie.
Like Greg right here, he says he has Martyrs. He's only watched it a few times, and it's a hard watch. It definitely is a hard watch. I mean,
Yeah,
the first time I ever watched it, I watched it with this ex roommate of mine, and we're sitting there, watching it, and I mean, when that poor girl is being beaten and shit, and I'm just like, fuck, I'm like, all right,
yeah,
and I I didn't know if I was gonna last this whole movie, made it through it, and to me, that ending is such a payoff, such a really good fucking payoff, and I immediately like watched it again, maybe the next day. And I was just, man, this just blows me the fuck away. So then,
yeah.
so then I went out and I bought the DVD of it and stuff. And so this girl I was with at the time, she came to visit, and I'm like, you got to watch this fucking movie. It's going to blow your mind. So we watch it. And it didn't really have the same effect on her, because when it got to the end, she goes, I don't get it. And I'm like, she goes, that's it? And I go, what the fuck are you talking about? She goes, I really don't get it. So I had to explain it to her. I said, look, this is what this is about, and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, oh, well, I don't know. Maybe we have to watch it again. I was like, hey, that's fine. But I mean, I think that film's great. I mean,
Yeah.
Because to me, it's not just, I mean, it's definitely shock value, but, you get something out of it.
Yeah,
I think,
like shock value could be like, oh, you just want to just be weird, or like shit. Like, was it like the hell was that movie? It was the hostel shit. Like, like how hostel they took the girl's eye and supposed to be disgusting and disturbing, but
yeah.
it's just it has an impact because it's not
Oh, yeah.
like some stupid shit. Like,
It's
not some
fucked up.
stupid shit. Like, yeah, like 'cause it's painful. Like, that moment was really painful to watch.
I
Seeing that
mean,
scene in the movie.
and then the fact of her, when she sees herself in that fucking, that mirror, and then she
Hmm.
jumps off, the train platform and kills herself, I mean, it's like, Jesus, I mean, people give that movie like a lot of shit, saying, "Oh, it's all the movie's just TNA." Well, it is at the beginning, but it's like, what do you expect? I mean,
I yeah,
it,
I know
it.
it's directed by Eli Roth. Eli Roth, I know he directed a few shitty movies, but I do like a few movies that he
I
made.
mean, but it gets you. I mean, that movie gets you to that point. It's like, I mean, to
Cause,
me, it kind of eases you in,
cause,
because you think it's like,
cause,
what is
cause,
this? It's some kind of
the,
goofy teen comedy or something.
cause,
It
the
what
thing
it
I
does
like
is
about
it makes you
oh, go
feel really comfortable. You think, oh, these guys are on a vacation. It's goofy. They're having a few,
yeah,
altercations, whatever, and then they're getting laid, whatever. You got to stick with it. And then all of a sudden, it's like, the one dude disappears, and then and then then the two guys get taken in, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? And when they cut that dude's Achilles tendons and shit,
Hmm.
and I mean, it's fucked, salad
Yeah,
fingers, you know.
like I do enjoy Hostel. Like was it because I'm talking about the first one because I only like that one, but like the first Hostel, like I'll admit, like I did not like the first half because the characters were kind of douchebags. Like I kind of don't like when the characters are that way, but they start building their art, especially
Right,
the lead actor, which I like the lead actor, Jay Hernandez. He's a good fucking actor because I liked how okay he came from like being like a douchebag in the first half, like kind of a whatever snotty guy, but you build his character up where you get like a story where like he's talking to his best friend. He's telling that, oh, I remember seeing this girl drowning and her mom screamed and it disturbed the fuck out of him. Like that's building arc where you're seeing that he should have saved the girl because he felt regret about that. It's like when he goes to see and save that girl that when he has to cut her eye out. That's like
right,
this. That's like going back to that scene where you're showing that his character is having arc because he's fighting back too because he escaped from the hostile people.
right.
Yeah, so like that's what I like. I like the last act where he's starting to kick some ass and like that's where like stuff. Like I just feel like that was badass. The way even killed the way that he killed the bad guy at the end was satisfying. I'm
Hey,
like,
Gizmo,
yeah, he lived. Hey, get some. But stupid shit like Serbian film gets like all this praise. Like that piece of shit has a Blu-ray, but not like great films. Like not great films like you said Russ Meyer films, or even like oh classic films like Teenage Werewolf and Teenage Frankenstein. Like
oh yeah.
those movies don't have like those movies don't even have releases, but piece of shit movies like August Underground and Serbian film gets good Blu-ray release. Like that is
I
to
mean,
me crap. And
if that turns people on, cool. But I mean, that's just not my deal. I mean, I
yeah,
love
they
horror and stuff, but I'm not
got
into like
like
movies
to
where
me
women are
Serbian film.
being.
But Serbian film, like I'm not calling it as a movie, but like I would say it's one of the worst movies ever made because it's a stupid movie.
Yeah.
Like that's a movie that I would just make fun of everything. I would even call it like one of the most retarded movies ever because it doesn't deserve to be called a movie because it's one of the most pathetic piece of shit I've ever seen. And it does have some fucked up stuff like, oh, we got to shock the audience. Like, yeah, it shocked us by showing some rape and other fucked up shit, which I don't want to say because people will be disgusted with it. But like, there was a lot more fucked up in that movie, and that movie is just fucking stupid. And I would never ever fucking see that movie ever again. Serbian film can go fuck itself.
I don't. I gotta answer Gizmo on this. Can we all agree that the Oscars 2025 is like the Razzie Awards? Well, they're almost like the same thing, but it's an interesting dichotomy that came out, I think. I mean, except I don't know about this Amelia or whatever the fuck film that's on Netflix. Uh,
What is that?
uh, I'm not
Because
going to
most
go.
of the
I really don't want to go into it because I mean I don't know
uh
enough about it. Amelia Perez or some shit, something like that.
what the fuck
Um,
is that? That
it's
that's the
about
name of the
like
movie?
it's about some gangster lady who's looking to transition. Whatever, whatever
They
people want to do, I don't
well,
have any problem with that. That's
uh,
not, but the thing
uh,
is, that thing
that's
got
some
13
stupid.
nominations, and it's like, why and how, you know?
That's stupid shit. Oh yeah, great. That's what Hollywood's gonna go through all that woke piece of shit route. Like
Well, you
I'm
know,
surprised.
I was talking to this friend of mine tonight because we always talk about the Oscars every year, and she and I, well, she came up with this theory, and I kind of agreed that, like, I mean, because it was weird, that the Substance even got fucking nominated. I was like, whoa, horror films don't usually, get nominated because the only one, the
Yeah.
last one I can remember was Silence of the Lambs. So we're thinking about it, and she goes, I'm not 100% certain. She goes, once I see the winners of the BAFTA and the winners of the SAGs, then she goes, then I'll know, what direction it's gonna go. But she said that she thinks because it's been like 20 years or so for her and Adrian Brody that they're the shoe-ins for Oscars for actress and actor.
Yeah.
I mean, at least she thinks.
Yeah.
And I said, well,
Like
yeah,
I
that's
would.
plausible because then I noticed that Isabella Rossellini has a Best Supporting Actress for Conclave, and I'm like, yeah, that seems plausible to me. So, if Substance actually fucking won, I mean,
I wish,
I'll be fucking
but
happy as shit,
if it doesn't win, it doesn't win. That means yeah, because you to me, I don't trust the Oscars. They're so full of shit. They don't even care about horror movies. All they care about is just but overrated garbage. They never even respected the horror movies. Like John Carpenter's not I mean John Carpenter's The Thing, like with the special effects, like that should have been Oscar winning right there. But it got because they don't give a shit about horror movies, so like but if it's a substance wins, that'll be a big surprise.
Yeah. I have not seen this movie Greg mentions, Innocent in a Ghostland, same director as Martyrs. I haven't seen that, so it's something to
Mm.
track down.
But yeah, just so that's what that Amelia movie is about.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
what?
as far as I know, I mean, I don't
Like a
know.
transgender? Is it a transgender gangster lady?
Yeah, they say like Zoe Saldana got nominated for like Best Supporting Actress, and I mean, I saw like a small clip of it, but it didn't really, I don't know what it was. It didn't really show anything to me, and I guess I need to watch a real trailer. But I told my friend, I said, "Fuck, I guess I better take one for the team and watch this, so I know
I'm
this
surprised.
thing is worth it."
Yeah, I'm surprised Disney wasn't even involved with that piece of shit.
Well, the thing that gets me is that several years ago people were getting pissed off at saying well, these movies that Netflix are producing and things like that, they shouldn't even be Oscar contenders. And then it's kind of like, well, you
Yeah,
go, well, why? Because it's a
remember?
fucking film.
Yeah, remember the controversy with Netflix with that fucking Cuties movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Like they got backlash with that piece of shit.
But I mean, it's still the same thing. Gore says here one of the best horror films, in quotations, is a woman determined to J.G. Ballard after a crash in a bar of the sun, deeply admired it, which is how he found out about it. I'd have to, I mean, I'm always open to see stuff, so I have to check that out too. There's speaking of J.G. Ballard, when I was talking about research publications, one of the first things they put out was something by him, and there were those. They had when they first started, they were doing kind of like a fanzine in a newspaper format called Search and Destroy, where it was all like a lot of the punk scene and stuff, kind of like Slash and Flipside, but they were coming, of course, from Northern California, and but they put out like a book by about Burroughs, and then they put the J.G. Ballard book. started getting into different things like the incredibly strange films. But the one thing, that I forgot that I was on that track about incredibly strange films was that in Britain there was a TV show that was actually, they took the name from the book, and it was in the late 80s, and it was, you can find the episodes on YouTube, but they interview Russ Meyer in one of them. John Waters is interviewed in one of the episodes. Ray Dennis Steckler. Most of the directors that were, in that book. And then there was one called Son of an Incredibly Strange Film Show, which I've never seen that one, but I'm sure those episodes of that exist. So I mean, there's a plethora of stuff that we all learn about and things we don't learn about. But I mean, I'm fucking like,
Yeah,
it's just sometimes. It's just, I don't know, the ignorance.
yeah, it's just kind of. But what's kind of pathetic is that movies nowadays they gotta go all fucking PC and all this fucking crap. That's the stuff that I'm just getting kind of sick and tired of the new movies, like the new movies they're doing, like in Snack Snyder. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just this comment that Gizmo said that from now on I'm Professor Tech.
Yeah,
but, Threads I know about, but I'm kind of like on that. That's one that I think will kind of mess me up. So I mean, even I have my limits at times. So I don't know, because the stuff I've seen from it is just very like, oh shit, But eventually I'll get to it. You're welcome, Chester. You have a great night, and stuff, and see you soon.
God dang it!
What's wrong?
No, it's just like when you tell me about that Amelia movie, I was like, that's how gangster movies are gonna go to. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know, and like I'm not here to like.
I know, I'm not against that shit, but to me, it's just like I've seen a lot of gangster movies, and there's a lot of masterpieces like Casino and Goodfellas, and like I see have to
Well,
see that.
yeah, but this
shit
is like,
now.
it's like a Mexican drug lord that's looking to. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to pontificate on any pros or cons, because all I've seen is like a 30-second clip of it that didn't do shit to like sway me good or bad. So
To me, I don't give a fuck. To me, I don't give a fuck. To me, Netflix, they haven't even done nothing that's worth a shit besides like some documentaries. But like their new movies, I don't give a shit about most of their new movies. Like Snack Schneider did his own Star Wars movie, and that piece of shit stuff.
Hey, Rosie, welcome back.
Yeah, just
Hey, Ben.
because that's that's the kind of shit that Disney's been doing with some movies lately, and even TV shows.
Yeah, I remember Ordinary People beating out Raging Bull, and I thought that was bullshit. I didn't like Ordinary People. I still really don't. I mean, I don't like, films about dysfunctional families. It's kind of like, I mean, it was a good film. I'll say that, but I'm just not into that type of film. I mean, it's like I would see films like that, and maybe it was because of the age I was at the time. But I think, fuck, if I want to see people fucking yelling at each other, I could just watch my parents fight. I don't give a shit, That's always the way I've thought about that, But I mean, there's so many kind of like, I'm trying to think. Okay, like that Catherine Bigelow, that war movie that she did, that she won.
The Hurt Locker?
Yeah. What the fuck? That movie is not that good. And I don't find, I mean, I didn't find it Oscar worthy, at all. I mean, basically Guy Pearce does her a favor. He's in the movie for 10 fucking minutes, gets killed off. I mean, the story itself was good, but I just didn't think that it was, anything that, to me, that it deserved Best Picture, maybe a few other things, but I mean, that's how it is, sometimes. It's like you look at these films and you watch them and you're like, okay, this is good, but it's not worthy of this. But really, what are the Oscars? You got to think of that too. It's just a fucking party for the rich people, which, Gizmo, I expect him, because since now I'm a professor and Gizmo is a director, that he needs to be up on that fucking stage collecting his fucking gold statue, and he can tell them all to shove it up their ass. Exactly. See, because he says, Anora is a weird Oscar movie, a lot of sex. It's a good movie, but still for me, it's more a good side film to the Oscar. I want the big movie back with quality. Where's the banger? See, I mean, even Gizmo as a director, he fucking knows. I mean, Juno, one of these days, I want to see you on that fucking stage, cracking one over somebody's head,
Yeah, but it's gonna be a tough business because I have to deal with that stupid woke piece of crap stuff that's gonna be around. Because that stuff's around with filmmaking nowadays. But I'm gonna just be easy, like just trying to do my own story, and not like have none of this crap around it.
Right.
Political message or a woke message or some stupid agenda like, oh, we gotta put them women and we gotta hate the men. Like, I'm not gonna put that crap in there. To me, if you want to see that, go see Lifetime movies or Hallmark piece of shit. I'm not gonna put that on a movie. I'm
Those
gonna
are those are the true horror movies to me. Those are the ones that, I think suburban housewives should be banned from watching, and kids, and even pets, because I think Lifetime and Hallmark movies will cause your pets to start smoking and drinking. It's stuff like that. You're very true with this. Your the ballad is one of your favorite artists. Deeply influential music and Joy Division. I like all three. So yeah. And then it was like Black Mirror was clearly influenced by him. So thanks, Greg, for letting me.
Yeah, like real quick, I've seen some good movies and I've seen some bad movies from last year, but bad is a piece of shit. It's Metropolis, piece of shit movie.
Gizmo, man. Watch Threads on your first date with the woman of your dreams. You will destroy her yourself, so you will force both of you into depression for years, but at least you can comfort each other. Oh man, you want to see a date movie that goes awry, Gizmo. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie called Kissed with Molly Parker. She plays this woman who works as a mortician, and she decides to kind of fiddle with the dead, and fiddle with them in ways that are unspeakable, that people have done, and things, and usually they get arrested for such things. But in this film, she's having her way with a few kind of dead people, and then she meets this guy who really likes her, and he kind of has to break through her walls to get her to kind of loosen up, and they go out and they start hanging out together and everything. And then she finally finally tells him, she's like, look, I got this thing I like to have sex with the dead. You know, she doesn't quite say it like that, but then she, you know, so she does this thing where she's like, you know, he's so fucking in love with her, and you know, he says, "Well, let's try it." She goes, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, you know, I am in love with you so much that, you know, I'll do it for you." And she's like, "No, no, I mean, you can't. That's not how it works." And he's like, "No, you know." And so the dude hangs himself, you know, and she's all aghast, you know, like, "Oh fuck, he's dead." And then, of course, she has to relent and have sex with him. And I remember, like, when I saw it, I mean, I think it's a beautifully shot film. I mean, I think the story's great. The whole thing is fucked up, but it's done in a way where it's not, you know, it doesn't scare you off, or it doesn't make you. I mean, it's kind of cringy, but everything is done well, you know, and you don't exactly really see, you know, like sex stuff or anything like that. But I remember going to see, I think I saw that or whatever, and my friend and I are walking out, and then this guy and this girl are walking out behind us, and this guy says, "Wow, yeah, I guess that was the wrong movie for a first date." So I was like, and I wanted to turn to him and go, "Yeah, you picked a good one there, bud." You know? Oh yeah, I know gore. I mean, but it's just I kind of, you know, like I said, just some of the little scenes that I've seen, it just, you know, I don't like, you know, the fact that, you know, I'm watching a movie where we could fucking die in like a snap, you know, and stuff like that, you know. And so, yeah, I know what it's about and stuff like that. And the thing is, you know, I mean, I'll definitely, you know, get around to it and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely, Todd. I mean, I fucking love Near Dark. I'm one of the few people, and this is
Underrated.
well, it's underrated, but I'm one of the few people, you know, like I'm not a fan of the Lost Boys because these two came out at the same time, and I saw like Near Dark, and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And when I saw, you know, to me, like Lost Boys is a good movie, but it's a chick flick about vampires, you know, pretty much if you think about it, you
Yeah.
know. You know, and I mean that's not knocking it because it's got great actors in it and stuff like that. But I'm just not. I'm just kind of like, you know.
When near dark, I enjoy that one. Like that one with another vampire I prefer over is Fright Night. Like I prefer Night Near Dark over it because I feel that Near Dark is criminally underrated. Sadly, no fucking Blu-ray for that movie, but that Blu-ray went out of print and had a shitty cover.
Right.
Did you ever see that Blu-ray? Do you ever own that, or do you don't own it?
Which one?
That shitty Blu-ray, that shitty Blu-ray that Lionsgate gave Near Dark, like
No, actually, no. There was an Anchor Bay one years ago that I should have picked up. I heard that they were reissuing it. You know, somebody was a couple of years ago, but nothing has materialized yet. You know, so yeah.
and that's a movie. That's a movie that needs an upgrade, like a nice collector's edition. Hopefully, Arrow can get their hands on it because I've been trusting them, giving us great classics on 4Ks and Blu-rays.
Rosie asked me if I like body double. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you know, Melanie Griffith and her yams. I can't dissuade from that. But no, I actually do like body double a lot. I think it's really good. It's one of De Palma's, really good ones. And plus, Craig Wasson is in it, and he was totally a total underrated actor. Jim's Movie Channel had actually mentioned this. There's a war movie called Boys in Company C, and this was before Platoon and a few others. And that movie is fucking amazing. And he's like one of the main actors in that film. It's like, I want to say maybe 1978, maybe 79, something like that. Fucking really good movie.
That's like before. Is that it? Doesn't isn't Arlie Ermy in it before he did Full Metal
Yeah,
Jacket?
he's actually in it. Yeah, I think that was one of the first things he was in.
Like it's kind of like his prelude Sergeant Gunnery Sergeant character
Yeah,
version of it before Full Metal Jacket.
yeah. So Gizmo says Mel Gibson is going to fix Hollywood. I hope if he can go back and make big movies like Braveheart, Passion of the Christ, and Apocalypto. Yeah, my dad saw Apocalypto, and he kept telling me I should go see it, but I never did because it came from my dad. What do you know? You've never been a dad to me, so why should I listen to you? I'm sorry to say, but whatever. He's never going to see this. He don't give a fuck. But I mean, there was a movie that Mel Gibson was going to make as like a sequel to Passion of the Christ. It was about bread, and it was called Passion of the Crust. So there you go. Bad movies seem to be the standard anymore. Well, but they're all. It depends, because there are people that make like bad movies, but there's bad movies that turn out to be good movies. Not so much these days, though.
Yeah, like damn it.
Oh yeah, Mel Gibson is an amazing actor and director. I mean, that one, that had the one with Nick Stahl that was sort of based on him about the disfigured face and all that. That was a great movie, I thought. Just the for who? Myself or me, myself, and I? Yeah, Juno, you keep getting that feedback, brother. Yeah, stay there. Don't move. I don't know. Yeah, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, some bad movies are worth watching always. Go ahead, Juno.
yeah. Sometimes bad movies did that, but like I always thought Halloween 3 was a piece of shit. But when I got older in high school, I got my because I saw a few shitty Halloween movies because I saw ones with Michael Myers, and so I got to see Halloween 3, and I enjoyed that movie.
Well, yeah, I mean
That's where that's
that
where
was
a bad movie turned into a good film.
well now that's kind of one of the exceptions to the rule because some movies they develop a cult following over the years and stuff. And I mean, I like when films do that. I don't like when films are kind of dormant, because but then it's always like somebody will say something to me. Do you remember such and such? And then I'll be like, "Fuck, I haven't watched that movie in 20 fucking years," And then I'll watch it, and it was just, I mean, like when we did that Elephant Man stream, that movie has resonated with me so much after watching that again because I was younger, at the time when I first saw it, and I don't even think I, saw all of it. I mean, I remember like certain scenes and things like that, but it didn't have the impact that it had on me. Like when we just recently watched it, I'm just like, holy fuck, this movie is so fucking good, and stuff. And I mean,
Yep.
I, and that's the way I like movies, man. I don't care if they're silly ass movies or whatever. If they have an impact on me in some sort of way, then it's fine. I mean, I was I was looking at that fucking
Same this. Yep.
I was looking at the
Like when I
Razzies list, Which what? Like what?
Yeah.
What was that you held up?
No, I was just showing like when you were saying it right now about how movies are silly, but you enjoy them.
Right,
I would put this one because a lot of people say that this is a stupid movie, but I love this movie.
right.
Yeah. But you're saying about the Razzies?
Yeah, the the Razzies had. I think it's just there's a vendetta against Jerry Seinfeld right now or whatever, and whatever. I don't give a fuck. But the whole deal, that movie that's on Netflix called Unfrosted, it's like this fake ass deal about Kellogg's and Post having a feud, the two cereal companies having a feud against each other, and who created Pop Tarts first. I think that whole thing's hilarious. I watched that movie. I laughed my ass off. It's got a lot of great cameos in it. It's not a great movie by any means, but it's a silly, goofy ass movie, and it's done really well. I mean, Seinfeld directed it, which I don't really, either I could care either way, but for a directorial debut, he did well. I mean, I thought it was just fucking hilarious. I just, I don't know. I mean, there's times to be serious, there's times to be silly.
Yeah. Like I like to watch silly movies. Like there's some piece of shit silly movies that are unfunny piece of shit. So like I seen a few Netflix movies that suck. Did you ever see that one where it's with Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy?
No, I didn't see that one, but I know what you're talking about.
God, I saw like 10 minutes of it. That was an unfunny piece of shit. It was fucking boring, man. I feel like I feel like those two actors were just wasted in that fucking film.
Well, it's funny because all these guys are always joking now about we need fat Russell Crowe. Well, we need fat Jonah Hill. You know, we need him back. You know, Gizmo, you need to start that campaign. Fat Jonah Hill.
Did you ever see War Dogs? That's a good one.
Fuck yeah, that movie's great. That movie is
That
excellent.
that's the last time I ever saw him. Because it was him. He was in Wolf of Wall Street in that movie War Dogs. I heard that's the last time I saw it was that piece of shit movie he did with Eddie Murphy, but I have not seen him in a lot of other titles in a while.
I, you know,
After he had the weight loss, I haven't seen him in a few movies. But yeah, it's just gosh, like some of the Netflix movies kind of suck, man. Like there was like a few piece of shit movies. Like there's one with Kevin Hart. They're trying to do like a rip off of Italian Job, but it was like so stupid.
I don't even want to hear that name mentioned on any of my streams again. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, I
That's
don't
another
like
guy
that
that
guy.
doesn't deserve to know.
Highly overrated comedian, man. I never found that dude funny at all.
Yeah, I'm not a fan at all. I just whatever.
To me, if
'Cause-
it's Dave Chappelle, give me Dave Chappelle over piece of shit
yeah, I'll go with that.
Kevin Hart.
So Gore says Roxy Music, one of his favorite bands, has a great song in every home, a heartbreak about a man and his blow up doll. Brian Ferry, Brian Eno, forever. I love a lot of Roxy Music. Virginia Plain and fucking Do the Strand, Loves the Drug, all that good stuff. There's, you know, that's interesting. We seem to kind of have a lot of the same musical tastes and stuff.
It's just a thing about movies; they suck ass. They just suck ass now because they're just coming out with remakes and sequels.
Sure, Rosie, I'd do that. I would do Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane, but we're not going to tell any predator jokes about Martin Sheen in that film. Well, actually, he's not the predator; that's his son. What did I just say that? Hey, I didn't say which son though. It's not I'm not Emilio. I mean, what?
I know who it is. I know
I
this. I know the story behind it, but we won't talk about that.
I just
I know
kind of
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, because I know who it is.
I know you know me. I just throw shit out there out in the wind. Near Dark is wonderful. The sexy blonde also starred in The World According to Garp. I recently rewatched that, and I love fucking World According to Garp, and I forgot that Amanda Plummer, was in that, and that was a trip. Seeing her in that, I was like, damn, that's a great flick. See, Greg has that Anchor Bay Near Dark 2 disc deal. Well, I'm gonna find out where you
Mm.
live. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure some
But
fucking fool would do that. Go to somebody's house. I want to steal your
you know,
fucking DVD. Like,
yeah. I did see a rat. I did see the Razzie for worst movies of this year, and yeah, some of them are on there.
well, yeah, I
Even
mean,
a Francis Ford Coppola's movie Metropolis is on
well,
there.
yeah, well, when Jimmy and I saw, I think it was Jimmy and I, we saw a trailer for that in the theater, and I said, okay, this thing's gonna go 2 ways. Because what do you mean? I go, it's not gonna do worth a shit, but it's gonna get a ton of Oscar nominations. And thank goodness I was wrong in the fact that it didn't do shit and it didn't get any Oscar nominations. So,
And now
that's
it's in the Razzies.
yeah, that's Coppola's fucking nail in his coffin, so to
Yeah,
speak.
to me,
So,
fucking scumbag deserves it.
um, but see, that's the thing though. The Razzies pissed me off because they said that Unfrosted, they said Jerry Seinfeld, was a bad actor, bad direction, and you know, uh, Amy
Yeah, the
Schumer was
Razzies are
bad.
trash.
And I'm like, did you guys even watch this film? Like I said, I think that one's just a vendetta against, you know, Seinfeld for speaking out against Palestine or some bullshit. Who cares? I'm just, it's like, don't get politics involved in anything. Just fucking, if you hate it, you hate it. I mean, I saw the Borderlands thing. I fucking laughed at because Moonbeam told me, she goes, no, I watched Borderlands. And I go, really? And I was like, huh, kind of like, oh shit, And she's like, yeah. She goes, I liked it. And I was like, oh. And I said, well,
Yeah, some of us are gonna like, some of us are gonna disagree, but
the thing was, I said, well, I may watch it because you did, but I said, I'm not a
mhm.
Kevin Hart fan. She goes, oh, well, she goes, Kate Blanchett was great. She's basically the movie. And so I said, okay, well, I think I can maybe, watch it. Because I mean, I'm not a fan really of video game movies either. I don't play them anymore, so I really don't care. It's just sort of like, okay, you know. I don't know. I just laughed at the fact that they gave a Razzie to pretty much the whole cast, and then they of Borderlands, and then they said that
Well, they should have gave it they should have gave it to the little girl because she sucked ass in the movie.
the thing with the one thing though is like we'll give a
Her
Razzie to
character was
Jack.
annoying.
No, but they said to Jack Black because of his voiceover. He's not in the film, but his voice. So
Yeah,
they give it one to
because he's supposed to voice a little robot character that you see in the trailer. He's supposed to be that little robot that that's like following them with the eye or something.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen it, so I don't know anything about any of the characters or like what they
Gosh,
do, or anything like that. So
yeah. There's even a piss. There's like even a piss joke in there. Not piss, but like they get doused with some piss thing. Like there's a part, yeah, there's a part where they're driving and the girl's being an idiot. Like, oh, I don't want to close the window, and fucking piss flows into the window. Oh, it's in my mouth. Like, no shit, Sherlock. He told you to close the window. It's like I don't know that movie. Because I'm a fan of the games, I still think that movie is not that good. Because to me, there were characters that they could have put over some of these annoying characters, like Kate Blanchett, like you said, she's good in it. It's just that I don't like some of the other characters. I just wish they brought some of the characters from the games. Like there's like really badass characters from the Borderlands games. Like there's this character that they could have used in the movie, and he's called Zero. He teleports where people think they're gonna kill him, but he teleports like to another person, another doppelganger, and he could kill them behind their back. And he doesn't speak, so like, why wasn't that character in there? And that's a badass character that I played in Borderlands 2. And like, I would have preferred that over the little kid.
They kind of did that kind of deal in Umbrella Academy though. So
Yep. Did you ever see that show?
fuck yeah, dude. You know, I didn't even know it was a
Like,
comic book. I didn't give a shit. I just was like, oh, that sounds
'cause I
great.
watched a few episodes one day. It was like a couple of years ago. I was watching it.
Yeah, Mel Gibson directed that new Flight Risk with Mark Wahlberg, and Mark Wahlberg
Eh,
has that fucking
doing.
ridiculous like haircut. It's like, oh wow,
No,
it's
I
like,
don't think I like a. Well, go ahead.
oh no, it's just like his haircut. It's almost like like a Larry Fine job. It's like that
Yeah,
skull cap he's got on is so bad. It's just like, okay, I don't know if I would stop laughing,
yeah,
through the whole time, just watching him, on that.
yeah, yeah. Mark Wahlberg. I think he's overrated, in my opinion. He's just doing the same boring shit roles lately.
The Jodie Foster one is the Brave one where she's the vigilante. That's a fucking great movie too. I like that
Yeah.
movie.
The only movies that Marky Mark did good was Fear and the Big Hit. Those are the only two movies I like from him.
That's a Gizmo. That's kind of an honor thing. I should do that sometime. He's gonna watch every short film made before 1930 and 2025. He say he is now at 1923 of Russian films, and he's gonna go country by country. Wow. I haven't seen Harry Crumb in ages, but yeah, I'd say that's underrated. Yeah, see,
God,
Rosie saw in Frosted, and she said it was a decent satire film. See, some people, man, they reached it, they grasp at straws for their ridiculous, like, fucking political agendas. Not that the Razzies exactly are, but there's got to be something why they would, not like it. I didn't think it was bad, and then even Dear Santa, it was stupid, but it wasn't like, some people were like, "This is total shit," and I'm like, it's just a fucking goofy ass kids movie, man. It's like, who cares? I'm gonna start going on rampages and say that every animated film that comes out that's rated G is just a piece of trash, and kids shouldn't be allowed to watch them. You know, I would never do that because I don't like Crusades, but Criterion Channel does have some of the best films, and that's a thing that I do believe everybody should subscribe to their channel besides buy their releases. I've been subscribed to it since 2020, I think, and I love it.
yeah, just The problem with modern movies is just that they're just coming out with crap after crap.
The hills have Jonas. Yeah, they do. Uncle Buck on a 4K. Who cares? Why? Why? I mean, not to say that that's a bad film, but sometimes I think some things on 4K just. I mean, I don't own a 4K, so I guess that's my problem. But like
Mhm.
sometimes I just look at titles and I'm like, this doesn't need that. You know. I mean, so you can see like the John Candy's nostril hairs or something. I mean, what the fuck? You know. And like I said, I'm not degrading the film whatsoever. I just don't think that everything needs a fucking 4K release. You know,
It's just
that
you hear it.
what? Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was just Gizmo says a feature he recommends to everyone is from 1911. It's Dante's Inferno from Italy. It's amazing, and of course, a trip to the moon from France, which I've seen. I've seen that. I haven't seen the Dante's Inferno, but I've always, you know, been told to watch it.
Did you see that Mark Wahlberg movie? The hell risk crap, or I don't know. Flight
The
risk.
high risk.
Flight risk.
No, I haven't seen it yet. It just came out. I'm just saying that I've seen the trailers so many fucking times. I might as well say I've seen it. You know, it gives away pretty much everything in the film, probably.
Yeah, that's what's shitty about trailers. They show the whole damn movie.
You know, I mean, the one thing that I'll say I'm looking forward to right now is the monkey. That looks fucking. That just looks like a blood fest. You know, so
I don't want to see that Jason Stamos movie.
Jason Stamos. You mean John Stamos, or you mean Jason Statham?
Jason Statham. I don't know. That's how I just pronounce his last name. I call him Jason Stamos. That's how easier I call him.
Well, it's
It's
like
like calling it's like calling Kenny Olivier Kenny Omega
Well, it's
or
yeah. I
something.
mean, I see what you mean. It's like Saoirse Ronan. I call her Seahorse because it sounds exactly the same. And it's not a knock to her. It's just easy to remember. Oh yeah, Seahorse. She's in this movie. You
Yep.
know,
Yeah. He's coming out with another movie directed by David Ayer, so I want to see that one.
there's a lot of that Godard and Truffaut stuff. I need to watch. PJ Razzie, Jeff. Yeah,
Like some of the shit that the Razzies, I don't give a shit, and I don't give a shit about the Oscars because they're hacked. Because they're gonna have a bullshit movie win.
okay. I mean, this is actually kind of true. Gizmo said this to Gore. Think of how many lifetimes you will used to explore the movies and TV shows from 2015 to 2025. Man, we make a lot of trash today.
I
He said, I
agree.
didn't. But no, I do
Yeah.
agree.
God damn, like from like and fucking gangster media movie, whatever the fuck that was. Like, damn, like we go from that to like to more piece of shits coming out. Like they want to reboot another fucking Star Wars movie and bring back the fucking Ray character. Like,
The biggest, the
God
biggest
damn
thing
it!
was the biggest thing with Star Wars was they shouldn't have ever made anything except those three movies. They should have just left it the rest of it to everyone's imagination. You know, because the fault of that shit was the fact of Lucas selling that shit over and him not directing any of those other fucking movies.
It makes him a sellout.
I wouldn't necessarily say it was a sellout. I think it was more of like he wanted to get a monkey off his back, more or less.
Yeah,
You know,
because he was. Because I know he probably was upset about those prequels.
well, they should have, but that's the thing. They never should have made any of those other films. I mean, and then he goes around changing the original three anyway. I mean, I don't
And they
understand
put
it.
like and they put like that stupid shit where Boba Fett survived.
I mean,
And
Han
they're
shot
making like
first, and who gives a fuck,
they're getting stories out of their own asses to make their own different storyline happen.
If they want to make some new ones, what they got to do is have them all meet like Jason in space. He kills them all.
Yeah,
That's it. But that's it.
that'd
Finished.
be good. That'd be a
Everybody's
good
happy
5 minutes.
everybody would be
That'd
happy.
be
Everybody would be happy because a horror icon killed, all the Star Wars
yeah,
characters.
yeah. Jason Voorhees saved us from more torture, from more torture porn. Like that's torture porn for us. Like we have to deal with that shit, and Jason saves us.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy is in Frosted. She's in that. She's fucking funny in that movie, man. It was good. The only one that I didn't like in that film was like Jim Gaffigan. I don't really think he's all that funny, but whatever, you know. Yeah,
Yeah,
Whataburger is good. Rosie, you just need to kind of like take a trip here before you move, kind of come up here and visit.
I need a water.
And yeah, we'll go eat at Whataburger. We'll go to a few places, some haunts that have some great food. So there you go. That's easy enough. Armed and Dangerous. Yeah, that's a good one. Great Outdoors is a good one.
Yeah, stupid CGI crap. Yeah, like even those special editions were garbage. What they did to the original like trilogies.
Right.
I don't know what the hell Lucas was even doing with those movies, like remastering them and putting some stupid CGI garbage.
I totally forgot to do my honorable mentions because there's only two. I just realized I'm like, oh shit. So let me do those real quick. So my honorable mentions of physical media from last year is the Green Room. This is the second site with a ton of special features and there's a art cards and a book as always like they put in their thing and stuff and it's got some a lot of new stuff and whatnot. This is a good movie. This is kind of shocking too when you see it.
Great
And
movie.
then, and then another one which I'll eventually probably get to on Gizmo's channel, which this one wasn't one of my picks this time, but um, the Hollywood Hillside Strangler, also known as Hollywood 90028, put out by Grindhouse Releasing. I know the guy that runs this, Dan Patak. He also does his own record label and distribution, Patak Records. And so, he puts out usually one release a year, and he's got that 8-disc 4K and Blu-ray coming out of the Beyond, 8 fucking discs. Now, you talk about something that's mammoth. I have no clue, like, what's going to be on there or anything. I'm hoping Gizmo has a commentary on there or whatever, that would be good. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing. But yeah, those were my honorable mentions. So yeah, there we go.
Green Room.
Okay.
Great movie.
Oh yeah.
Rest in peace, Anton Yelch.
I'm the king of films. Well, I wish. An anti-Dan type. What does that mean?
I don't know.
explain explain please, Rosie. Okay. Anyway, you could listen to me all day. Well, I don't think you'd really want to do that. Uncle Jesse the transport. I did show them off, but I'll go back. Jimmy, we didn't need to know that you were watching Fury Road. No, I'm just kidding. Full Bloom House. There you go. That's for you, Juno. Full Bloom House.
Yeah, shit,
Lawless
shit
is
out.
great. Russell, I gotta, I love you, man, but sometimes you repeat the same stuff like over and over and over. And I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I mean, I can retain information really well. And so, you know, you need to come up with some things to where, I don't want to, you know, kick myself in the face. Thank you. Anyway, never mind. Yeah, see right here, Gizmo even says, I can't even see the old Star Wars films anymore. I love the first three. I tried watching them again 2 years ago, and the new films has destroyed the old films for him. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I think that's the consensus.
pretty much. I call him Horse's Ass trilogy.
Yeah, I think Empire, Gore says that he saw Return of the Jedi in the theater. It wasn't as serious as Empire. And he goes, my favorite is of the time after every rewatch got worse, the wheels fell off, and then came the bad prequels. But yeah, I mean, to me, Empire Lays Back, which is what I call it, is my favorite, you know. Um, Jedi's kind of good for the first 45 minutes, and then, yeah, it just drops off a fucking cliff. That whole deal with the Ewoks, and somebody told me this, and I mean, I can kind of see where he was going with it. Said that was basically because you know how Lucas and Spielberg and fucking um,
Mhm.
De Palma and Coppola and all those, they were all boys, and stuff, in their boys club or whatever. So that whole deal with the fucking Ewoks, that battle is like a uh, kind of a um, homage to fucking Apocalypse Now, apparently.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, Solo was good. I mean, yeah. I mean, even that Solo movie was decent. I didn't think it was that bad. But the prequels do suck. I mean, I'm just like,
the only new Star Wars movie I liked was Rogue One. That was it, because that was part of the original timeline. So like, because it wasn't part of the new bullshit trilogy. So like, that's what I liked about Rogue One.
the David Gordon Green room. Yeah, you
Yeah,
know.
fuck that director.
Oh, that's
He destroyed.
Simon
He just. Oh, go ahead.
Heinfeld. No, she was saying what that Dan and I deal was. Like, yeah. So
Yeah. Speaking like gizmos, like what somebody was saying. Oh, they destroy how they destroyed Star Wars. Like they kid Gordon Green. He destroyed Halloween for me. So like that's another movie
right,
that piece of shit destroyed.
Russell. I'm just kind of razzing you, but sometimes I see you say something, and I'm just like, I saw you say this in like 3 other streams. Why are you trying to torture me? See, and that's a joke too. That's I'm being sarcastic. Sometimes people don't get my fucking sarcasm either. So but I'm just saying, it's like I know this already. But I'd be like that with anybody that says, "Oh, yeah," and I was like, "Yeah, I've heard that story 1,000 times." That's why I don't like to repeat myself, I guess, because it's like, okay, if I said it once, you better have got it, because if you don't, well, too bad. No, I'm I'm just being an idiot. I'm a ridiculous person. But you said you met Scotty on your GO train ride in Toronto on the way to Oakville. I got one better for you. The one and only Star Trek convention I ever went to because a couple of friends were going. James Doohan was there, and he was the only one I ever wanted to meet besides Nichelle Nichols. And so it was in this very small like hotel in like some bumfuck place in California. I forget, somewhere across the bay, probably close to you, Juno, maybe, but it was like this really small fucking town I'd never been to. And I was like, really? This is where we're going? This fucking place? Like, okay. And there were a lot of people there, a lot of vendors, and stuff. But like James Doohan, man, it was fucking great. This was right. They talked about Deep Space Nine. This was before Deep Space Nine had come out, and they were all excited. People were all excited because there's this new Trek show, Deep Space Nine, coming out, which I'll admit I got hooked on. And I was like, okay, cool. So anyway, though, James Doohan is there, and he's answering stuff about Shatner, and I mean he's fucking grilling Shatner a lot, which was great. So anyway, you know, it, people are asking him, just all these fucking Star Trek questions, and I'm like, that's not me. I don't want to fucking do that. So I'm thinking, he's done other stuff besides Star Trek. People, what the fuck? What's wrong, with you guys? So anyway, I decided, I saw this skit that he had done on the Ben Stiller show, which was a very short-lived show with Ben Stiller, of course, where they were some kind of deal where they were, going for the same girl. It was weird, something like that. And so he didn't get the girl. So I raised my hand, and I'm wearing my Dinosaur Junior cap. And he says, "So what's your question, Mr. Dinosaur Junior?" So I go, "Well, I just want to say, that I saw you on the Ben Stiller show and I thought you were great on that. And I was sorry that you didn't get the girl." And he kind of looks at me, and he goes, "Well," he goes, "that's a different one, mate." And, so that's that. He just kind of chuckled, and he's like, and he goes, "Well," he goes, "thank you very much." So, that was a story to tell the grandkids, and stuff,
Yep.
Han Solo cup. There we go. Yeah. Gordon Green just wants to feel like a man by turning Myers into a pussy. Star Trek
Yeah.
crossover. Yeah, that would be good,
That's what they did with Michael Myers. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Oh, I agree with this. Terry Gilliam was from that generation, but his films like Time Bandits, which was for kids, was more mature in many ways than any of the Star Wars or Spielberg films from that era. That's true. I recently watched this Spielberg documentary that from 2017, and that was real interesting. How he went from what he was making like Jaws to kind of a more or less serious tone and stuff, and then back to like a huge, like kind of serious, tone. But what really sucks is I love 1941 and people fucking hate that film. Yeah. One, I think because it's too long and that it's just goofy, but it was just something
Then
kind of a pet project of his. I think it's great. John
then
Belushi is
Spielberg
fucking great in that.
does
Fucking,
does Spielberg hate that movie?
he doesn't hate it. It was people, other people that hated it, the critics hated it, stuff like that. I think it's fucking great. May be a bit too long, but I think it's funny. I think it's good stuff. I'm not, but that's just me because I like a lot of stuff that people hate. So
I know part of it is like because part of it's like a war movie, so people will probably think it was gonna be a serious movie.
there, yeah. See, there
So,
would be
like
yeah,
like something out of Midway or something.
right. Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, fuck, you had Christopher Lee in that. You had Toshiro Mifune in that. You had a lot of great, like, classic fucking actors in that, and people shit on that. But something that was mentioned on Jim's panel today was that like Mr. Dan, he said that they were talking about these cheesy disaster movies, and there was some movie that Mr. Dan's father wanted to see, and he goes, "But Dad, that's not going to be good." And he goes, "I heard that's not good," and he goes, "I don't care. There's good people in it." And that's what some people will do. They'll just watch a movie because of the fucking cast. It doesn't matter if they're all farting in each other's faces or something. It says, oh, this guy's in it. He's a great actor. I'm going to watch him fart in somebody's face for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. See, now, Russell's right here. He said there'd be no Life for Brian without George Harrison's backing. And that's true because George Harrison started actually that production company and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Benny Hill was good stuff. But I mean, there's so much, stuff now that just, may not be silly, but I mean, I love Faulty Towers. That was silly, but that was great stuff. I still actually think that the Britons make better TV. I mean, we get better TV now than we did when they didn't even get TV. They were having to watch fucking Kojak reruns or some shit from over here.
Kojak?
Yeah. They only had like, what, 2 or 3 channels, and they were only on like half a fucking day. I mean, not anymore, but like that was the BBC in the 70s. It was like barely on. People are like, TV is off at 11 o'clock at night. I don't have anything to do. It's like, fuck. It's like, that's terrible. Yeah, Monty Python's Flying Circus. You might have missed this, Gizmo. I talked on my last stream when we were watching the Limey that's how I learned to do an English accent, was from watching Monty Python's Flying Circus. And then when I was in high school, we would try to pick up girls at the mall by using fake British accents, because they like that stuff, and we could kind of sort of fool them, sometimes, but it didn't always work because I wasn't the cute one or anything. But c'est la vie. Yeah, Blackadder was good, but I like fucking Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I love those fucking books. Those were great. Douglas Adams. I haven't seen that documentary, but yeah, that's really good. There was a deal he did on Hunter S. Thompson because of Fear and Loathing. Terry Gilliam's fucking great. I mean, he was doing that one movie that had Heath Ledger in, and Heath Ledger died, and then he added two other people in it to play the same role, and just did it kind of like a weird fucking time capsule thing sort of deal. And it worked. It was really good. Weird as fuck, but it was great. Yeah, I mean, Faulty Towers is great. I love it. I've always loved that whole fucking, yeah, in that episode where he says not to say anything about the war. It's like, don't mention the war, and then he does the whole fucking goose stepping deal and putting his finger up to his nose like it was Hitler's mustache and all that shit. And then you got Manuel, which was great, the Mexican maitre d guy, and bellhop who didn't really speak English, which was great. Mr. Faulty no here. So yeah, I mean, there's so many stuff. I mean, I've been watching actually a lot lately, a lot of British game shows on YouTube, like the Big Fat Quiz of everything. I always watch that, and then they always have the yearly one, which is really good. And it's ridiculous because I mean, it's a real quiz show, but then it's all hosted or has comedians, and then they give fucked up answers to a lot of the questions, even though they probably know them, but they do it just to fuck with everybody. And then there's this other one called Would I Lie to You, which is pretty decent, where they have these two comedians on this one side and then this guy hosts, but then they have these other people join them. And then they have these cards and they say nobody's seen the cards, which I find a little weird, but regarding like a question on the cards or something, they'll say what it is, and then the other team has to figure it out whether it's the truth or a lie. And that's pretty funny a lot of times. And then there's the whole I started watching Nevermind the Buzzcocks, which it's been around for years and I never seen it, but I watched the last season of it, and man, that show is fucking insane. It's funny. They even had Courtney Love on there, and that was she made a semi spectacle of herself. She could have made probably worse, but it was also cool because Glenn Matlock of the Sex Pistols was on it, and that was pretty cool. Then I watched one that had Mel B from the Spice Girls on there, and she was adamant about stuff because at one point Noel Fielding says, "This isn't a real game show," and she goes, "The fuck it is," It's like, okay, like, all right, so there we go,
Yeah.
Yeah, those 70s masterpiece theater shows were really good stuff. Man, we were lucky that we got such stuff over here. God bless PBS, man. I was able to see fucking Man About the House, which was the real Three's Company, and then George and Mildred, which was the Ropers, because all that stuff that's where we fucked up, like, we do these rip-offs of like great British shows. You had Sanford and Son, which was a British show called Steptoe and Son. And so, but yeah, PBS did give us Doctor Who, but then here sometimes they just show it. They showed that and Monty Python on a regular station here. It was weird. They'd show like Doctor Who on Saturday mornings sometimes, and then after Saturday Night Live, they would show Monty Python's Flying Circus for like an hour. So we got a lot of good stuff, But yeah, I just hit. Hey, Schulte, you missed a lot. You missed me ranting and a lot of stuff. I tell Vanta that I am so sorry that I missed her stream tonight. This was like kind of a last minute deal, See, that's the thing I'm talking about. Like Gore, he says, I remember friends who couldn't watch Three's Company and Soap because it wasn't appropriate. Appropriate for what though? That's the thing. It's like people are nuts, man. They don't, it's like my mom tried to stop me from watching Mary Hartman, and I'm like, I got addicted to it. I mean, I was 10 fucking years old watching a show about an adulterer and a pot smoker. And I didn't give a shit. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't give a fuck. I just thought the show was great. And I loved Louise Lasser. Plus, I developed a huge crush on Mary Kay Place. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the stream and see how many times I said fuck. Happy Days was good. I mean, that's when and stuff. I mean, Norman Lear, he did make great series, and stuff. I mean, like I said, though, I was like 10 years old watching Mary Hartman. I shouldn't have probably watched it. Like I said, I didn't really know what was going on. I know this woman was having an affair with her husband, and he was too. I remember my stepdad got pissed one night because he watched it with me, and then he's like, you shouldn't be watching this because it's about an adulterer, It's like, and I'm like, I didn't know what the fuck that was. I didn't care. I just liked the show, for whatever reason, It just, That's right. The real Gore Vidal appeared on Mary Hartman. Hey, Chester. See, well, you had cool parents then if they didn't have any objection, So that's worth it. Yeah, Red Dwarf is a cool show. Chester. Okay, this is the deal with me. If something becomes too popular or people just constantly fucking talk about it to me, I don't want to watch it. That's just something with me. Even bands. Sometimes somebody overhypes a band to me, I'm like, fuck this band. I don't care. I don't want to listen to them.
Mm,
I don't want to watch the show because it's too overhyped. So eventually I'll get to it. It's kind of one of those things. I don't know. I just it's like sometimes I feel like it depends on who it's coming from too. Like if Juno said, "Oh, you got to watch this," or like if you said it, Chester, then I'd be like, "Okay." And I know I need to watch it. I mean, I watched that one, the Judge or whatever the fuck, the one that Bryan Cranston had on Showtime. Now it's on Netflix. They only did like 2 seasons or whatever, and that was fucking amazing.
yeah,
I
like
know that Breaking Bad
you're,
is. I just have never seen it. I've never watched Mad Men either. There's so many
yeah,
shows,
um,
but it's just like I said.
yeah,
Sometimes if something gets overhyped to me, I'm like, nope. I got to discover shit on my own sometimes, and I think that's what it is. You know,
like the Wolfman movie you mentioned. I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. That's why it's gonna be my own opinion if I when I see it.
right?
Because I know you said you like the Wolfman movie that came out.
Oh, I think it's fucking great, even though it's a bumhouse movie. But I mean, it's fucking Lee Winnell, man. He's buddies with
Oh
James.
God,
He's buddies with
I
James Wan. So I mean, I'm not. I
it
fucking
just
think James
I just
Wan is.
don't like I just
uh
don't like shit house. Cause
But it's not shit. That's the thing. I mean, I'm going to tell you this. It's a very slow burn, and it's not about a werewolf.
mm,
Thus,
cause
why it's called Wolf Man.
cause cause I know I did not like Invisible Man. That's I
Oh
know
man,
you
come
must.
on. Are you serious? That movie was fucking
I was
amazing.
bored of that fucking film. It was
Oh, dude,
boring.
that movie
I
freaked
was
the
like,
fuck out of me.
even
That
the
movie.
endings, the ending wasn't. I the ending didn't do nothing for me. It was like I just wasted 2.5 hours of this boring fucking film.
See, see, now we're going into our Siskel and Ebert mode here.
Yeah, to me, to me, Upgrade is better. Like that's the only.
Upgrade is
But
great. I love it.
besides, like to me, I like that better than the Invisible Man movie. Upgrade, I was more interested in that movie, and I never saw that. But when I saw it for the first time, and I also did a review for it because I enjoyed it. Upgrade, I enjoyed that way more than Invisible Man.
But I
Like to
mean,
me, I was more
Invisible
into.
Man, you got to admit that restaurant scene. Holy fuck!
It was like
I
it did have
mean,
some decent moments with that, but just I was
but
just bored of the
you don't
movie.
even see that fucking coming at all. It's just like,
Yeah,
wait, what the fuck
yeah,
just happened here? It's like, holy shit.
yeah. I was almost gonna fall asleep on the movie, but I watched the whole movie, dude. But that's why most of us are not gonna like the movie, man. Like, but there's movies that we might like. Nobody's gonna like it. That's why it's just
So
like my opinion. Like, I don't think it's a piece of
no,
shit or anything. I
I
don't
know.
think it's a huge piece of because to me, like, I seen worse movies than that film, but just
No, I'm just
it's
surprised.
just yeah, it's just like because I think I mentioned it on the overrated list or
You
something
might have
when
or
we did
something.
because we did like overrated. Remember we did a stream with Sean and I think I
Right.
mentioned that movie or something, but it's just I don't know. Invisible Man, I just didn't get into it. It's just the only Invisible Man movie that I would just watch is the original Klaus Rains movie and the Hollow Man movie.
Right.
To me, Hollow Man I prefer over it. Like that movie, I think is criminally underrated.
Siskel and Ebert comes up. I like fucking Siskel and Ebert. I didn't always agree with their
Some of
I
like
yeah, opinions. I
yeah, I
mean,
know, but just it's just some of them are like some of the opinions I kind of don't agree with. Like there's some movies I feel like they kind of like didn't get the point
Right.
with some movies.
But I mean, I love the whole, like, their banter was great. And it was funny because people thought that they hated each other and they really didn't. They were actually really good friends.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's still, like I say, the best thing I think I ever saw. But, well, plus, as far as Roger Ebert's concerned, he fucking wrote the screenplay for Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, the Russ Meyer film. So, I have to be a lifelong Ebert fan just because of that. And then Russ Meyer was going to do this movie, Who Killed Bambi, which was going to be this like Sex Pistols film because they said, let's get Russ Meyer to direct it. So then they flew him into England and stuff. Ebert was going to write the screenplay, which he wrote, I think, got most of it, but then they didn't. He and Meyer and Malcolm McLaren, the Pistols manager, didn't get along. So then it was like, fuck that. Then they decided they wanted, Johnny Rotten's like, get the guy that directed Truck Turner. I like that movie, Truck Turner. So then he was going to do it. And then for some reason that didn't pan out. And then it just kind of went to a halt. And then it became Julian Temple took hold of it and put out what was already done. And then I guess McLaren's ideology, what the fuck ever, uh, and so that became the Great Rock and Roll Swindle. And that was a huge piece of shit. One of my favorite fucking bands, and that movie it's this hodgepodge of bullshit. So, I mean, but there, but, the one thing about Siskel and Ebert I was going to say was that there was one movie, I don't remember the name of it, but like Siskel says to Ebert, he goes, or it might have been vice versa, but anyway, I think it was the other way though, to Ebert. He says, I remember when you went and you saw such and such film, and you came to me and you told me that there was this fucked up scene in there. He didn't say it that way, but because there was a scene where this little dog comes in this room and proceeds to have sex with this woman. And he goes, I never said that to you. And he goes, you did. And he goes, no. He goes, I don't even remember that even happening in that movie. So I don't know where you got that. And that was the funniest fucking thing because they're arguing over like some fucking obscure Spanish film that like, and I was just like, man, what the hell is it with these guys sometimes,
yeah, like, but there's some movies that I kind of disagree. I just highly disagree with them giving two thumbs down on movies like two movies that I think are masterpieces: The Wanderers and The Warriors. Like those are movies I did not understand why they gave it thumbs down because those are fucking masterpieces.
like Schultze says, and then we got to kind of cut this going because I'm going to lose battery and I don't want to die on everybody.
Okay.
But it says, I refuse to watch the new Dylan film when they make films about pop stars and their lives. Nah. Yeah, I mean, what I don't like is that they kind of take these
Misinformed.
liberties with some stuff and then yet they don't follow the correct time frame. Like the Queen movie, I thought was really good, but they show songs that they supposedly did at a certain time that they didn't, that came later, or vice versa. It's like they didn't do this song then, and then they're showing like fucking what was it? Another one bites the dust, like way after it was already done. It was like, the fuck, what are you doing? It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
And it was. Did you like Robin Malek as Freddie Mercury?
Yeah, I mean, I thought all the guys were good in it. I thought it was,
Because
it was
some people were saying that like, oh, he didn't deserve to win the award for best actor.
fuck that shit. He was great.
I liked his role. He
Yeah, I
was
mean, I think he
perfect.
did good. I just don't like the fact when they take continuity shit and they don't do it right. If you're gonna do a movie, follow the fucking timeline. If you want to change some stuff, change it, but don't obliterate it. That's why I don't like Dead Zone because that book was so fantastic, and then they just totally changed that whole deal with the sheriff and made the sheriff a villain. And it's like, no, 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 that's not, no, no. What the fuck are you doing? It's like,
You
no.
don't like that movie?
No, because that, like I said, that book, I love that book. I read that book in like a day.
Oh,
I couldn't put it down. And then they totally take one character in there that's this good guy and they turn him into a bad guy. And it's like, no, no, what are you doing? It's like, don't, no, 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 no. And I guess that's because they didn't want to film, stretch out the whole thing or whatever. But it's like you could have just cut him out of the fucking film then, and done something else. Like that. I mean, it's a good movie, but overall, I just don't like it because it's not true to the book. And I know not every movie is going to be true to the book, but that to me, though, that was one of the best books by him I think I've ever read. And I was just like, man, what the fuck have they done? So for the longest time, that made me not want to read another story of his because I was like, they're going to just fuck it up, and stuff.
yep.
But Gore says he thinks American Werewolf in London and Howling left a lasting mark on future werewolf films. Dog Soldiers and Ginger Snaps took a page from there. Absolutely. Absolutely. So remember when Ebert thought Siskel was out of his mind for admiring Saturday Night Fever, especially the dance sequence. That is funny. That no, no, no. I mean, I had a lot. I mean, yes, Ebert was he totally on target. Yes, most times. I mean, Siskel came off sometimes more of like a codger, and shit. Yeah, I'll agree, but I liked them both. I mean, at first when I first started watching that show, I didn't know what the fuck I was watching. And I was like, these two dudes are just sitting here talking about movies, which is what we're doing now. Go figure. But I was like, I'm like, okay, I mean, I guess that was my first kind of real kind of thing of
Yeah.
being drawn into kind of criticism or something, and stuff. So, but I was just like, okay, this is weird, but okay. And then I kept watching it and was like, wow, okay, this movie does suck. Why, why do they like it, or whatever. So I started to get everything and I was like, okay,
Like, like I don't even like Titanic, and that got all the praise. I think that
Ex-
movie's highly overrated.
exactly, Gore. Saw the hailing on 5 tabs of Sid, but acid, not Sid as crib death or whatever. Yeah, that's right. Siskel did own Travolta's white suit. I remember when I went to New York and that was really popular, and I was like 13 years old, and I went to Macy's because I'd never been to a Macy's because they weren't around everywhere then, and they were selling those fucking white suits for like $100, and I was just like, who would buy one of these?
What's
Just like, okay,
Pie Disco Inferno?
yeah, yeah. I love the Warriors and the Wanderers and stuff and whatnot.
That's the two things I disagreed with their rant on those two movies. Like they
Night,
gave
Greg.
those two movies thumbs down.
I've never seen that movie, Schulte Parker or Bird or whatever. I've never seen that, and I mean, I'll take your word for it. I've always kind of wanted to see it, but I mean, I love Forrest Whitaker and stuff, but Ghost Dog, it to me is just kind of the pinnacle, that
I kind of wish they did a sequel, but that's never going to happen.
as long as the writer has nothing to do with the movie, it will usually be good.
They,
King, yeah,
they should
you're
have made
right.
it like they should have made it 7 years ago.
Yeah, everything's good. I told Juno that I was gonna knock him out if he didn't fix his fucking thing. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, anyway, we're gonna get out of here because I just got 10% battery left, and I don't want to, us to die, and then everybody's like, "What happened?" But I want to say thanks for everybody coming out and listening to me curse a lot, and just throw fucking stuff in the wind. And real quick, I guess, for the people that missed it, I will go through the 5 real quick before this dies out, that didn't see it. So let me see here. All right. So do this real quick. Okay, so my number 5 pickup from last year, physical media, was the Shawscope Volume 3 with like about fucking too many, martial arts films with the word swordsman in them. Number 2 was this awesome stillbook of this wonderful French film, Amelie, which I said I'm going to send this to some special lady in my life for her Valentine's Day gift. Number 3 was this collector's edition of Don't Look Now with Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie. This movie's fucking great. I'm not going to go back into it, but this is if you've never seen this fucking movie, you got to see it. Well, you got to see all these movies as far as I'm concerned. Number 3 is the Bruceploitation box set, the Game of Clones, which has a ton of 12 Bruceploitation classics. This is the mark that these studios wanted to use after Bruce Lee died and all that. And then number 2, which really, it's interchangeable, but the Flesh and Blood Show, the horror films of Pete Walker, which includes Die Screaming Mary Ann, Flesh and Blood Show, Fright Mary, This Mortal Sin, Schizo, House of Whipcord, and The Comeback. These fucking movies rule. They're all good. He was a interesting British horror film director. And then, of course, number 1, thank God for small favors, the Vixen trilogy. Vixen, Super Vixens, and Beneath the Valerie, the Ultra Vixens. And so, yes, these are finally here in a good form to be viewed by all, and they are not pornography. So anyway, anybody tells you there is, smack them in the mouth. I'll buy that chainsaw for $300 and 2 smacks in the mouth. So there we go. No, Russell, nothing on Kelly's Heroes. Okay, we're not talking about Kelly's Heroes. But yes, he's great. He was my favorite character in Kelly's Heroes. Saw that in the drive-in when I was a kid. All right, guys. I love you all, and I thank you so much for coming out tonight and everything and whatnot. I mean, it was a blast, even though I was on a lot of rants and some, crazy stuff. So anyway, thank you, and I will see you Wednesday with my next watch party, which I'm not going to disclose. I already know what it's going to be, but but we got some, that's to end the month, and then we got some other stuff coming up, and it's going to be good. Like I said, Juno and I, we're trying to do our best to keep the show rolling. We're going to get our partner back. Don't worry about that. But we're doing what we're doing for now. So thank you so much, everyone. Because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't have a place to rant and rave and be an asshole. Love you guys so much. Have a good night.